including time and location, has been noticed on the Tennessee real estate website since October 30th, 2019. Only this month's agenda has been posted on the website since Thursday, July 2nd, 2020.
Thank you. Now, if you'll call the roll.
Yes. Okay, Commissioner Joe Begley.
Here.
Commissioner Diaz.
Here.
Chair Marcia Frank.
Here.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn.
Here.
Commissioner John Moffitt.
Here.
Commissioner Joan Smith. Joan's here. I think she's on mute. Commissioner Stacy Torbett.
Here.
Commissioner Wood.
Here.
John.
We have a quorum. All members are present, including our newest member, Joan Smith, who's muted at the moment. But Joan, would you tell us just a little bit about yourself before we go forward? Unmute yourself. You're muted still, Joan.
How about now?
That's good.
Good now.
Okay, good. I'm a licensed realtor. I've been licensed since 1979. I'm married with 2 children, 4 grandchildren. Been active with Coldwell Banker Crestwell Realty for several years. I own my own firm prior to that. And I'm excited to serve this commission. And I can't think of any. I've known John for several years and Marcia for several years, Bobby for several years. Some of you are new faces I've seen around, and I can't wait to see you in person.
But more importantly, talk about Humboldt and that Strawberry Festival.
I am from a small town, Humboldt, and we do have a Strawberry Festival. I'm sad to say we didn't get to have it this year. Several years ago, when TREC came to Jackson to have its session here, John and Bear and Janet and several people came, and we walked the streets of Humboldt one evening and had a great time, didn't we, John?
Absolutely. It was fun. That's when I knew you'd be a good commission member, when you can entertain us at the Strawberry Festival. Anyhow, thanks we welcome you, and we're glad you're with us.
Thank you.
And I hope you'll ask anybody any questions that you have, but especially me.
Thank you. Thank
You bet. All right, Bobby, at this time, if you don't mind leading us in an invocation, and then we'll pledge to the flag.
Sure, and I'm going to ask the question first. On the pledge, what is appropriate? Do we stand? What do we do when we do a pledge in a situation like this?
We stand always.
Okay, I'm good with that then. Let's pray first. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this day. We just thank you for the opportunity to gather, even though it's a remote situation, but it makes us more appreciative of the time that we are able to get together and be in person. We just ask you to watch over the proceedings of this meeting, have us do what would benefit your kingdom, but we also just ask you to just heal our country and just take care of this the virus, and just be with the people that are working towards its eradication. And but we also especially thank you for the people that are on the front line, whether it be our medical personnel, our first responders that are out working with this on a daily basis and out working to protect the rest of us, and just ask you to be with them and just watch over those people in the service today as they provide comfort for and direction for our country. Just ask you to be with us today. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bobby. Anna, at this point, would you mind reading into the record the statement of necessity?
Sure. This is a telephonic scheduled meeting of the Tennessee Real Estate Commission. Notice of this meeting was posted to the Commission's website on Wednesday, July 1st, 2020. As there is not a physical quorum present, a statement of necessity will be read into the record and filed with the Tennessee Secretary of State as required by statute. Pursuant to Tennessee Code annotated Section 8-44-10B2, which states if a physical quorum is not present at the location of a meeting of a governing body, then in order for a quorum of members, then in order for a quorum of members to participate by electronic or other means of communication, the governing body must make a determination that a necessity exists. That determination must include a recitation of the facts and circumstances on which it is based. Further, Tennessee Code annotated Section 8-44-108A3 defines necessity as matters to be considered by a governing body at the meeting require timely action by the body, that physical presence by a quorum of members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. As stated, this is a previously scheduled meeting of the Tennessee Real Estate Commission and is now being held telephonically and by WebEx. The purpose of this meeting with members attending by teleconference is to conduct regular business of the Commission, including but not limited to informal appearances, the education report, executive director's report, and complaints. Furthermore, it is necessary for this meeting to be held by teleconference in accordance with Executive Order Number 16 issued by Governor Bill Lee on March 20th, 2020, further extended by Executive Order Number 51 issued on June 29th, 2020, to ensure government continues to function open and transparently during the COVID-19 emergency while taking appropriate measures to protect the health and safety of citizens and government officials. All voting will be conducted by roll call.
Thank you. At this point, it's time to approve today's agenda. Is there a motion or are there additions, Ms. Franks? Marcia, you're muted.
Sorry. I wanted to be sure, I noticed in the minutes we deferred a case, Linda Spencer, and I want to make sure that that is included. Anna, do we have that down, Anna?
Include it for today.
Yes. It was deferred for 30 days.
We can talk about it today. I'll defer to Caitlin.
Yes, we
Okay.
can talk about it today. And I can give you guys an update of where that is.
Okay. And then the other thing, Caitlin, it was we had the PSI proctoring and feedback from other states.
Yes, that's actually, I included online proctoring at the bottom of that report.
Okay. And I did not get the legal report. I only got the consent agenda. I just wondered, did everybody else get the legal report?
There's only a consent agenda.
That is, I included that in one of my emails. I know I sent a few. That's the way we've been doing it since going virtual.
Okay.
Just the one consent agenda.
Okay.
And we have been including the full legal summaries in the minutes to be transparent.
Okay.
The goal with that is just to avoid reading and discussing every case on a telephonic meeting.
Okay. I just thought I had missed something. That's all I have. Thank you.
So Marcia,
Yes.
I'm gonna stick Linda Spencer under commission discussion and TSI under executive director's report.
Okay.
Said that's okay.
Yes. Great.
Additions or deletions from today's printed agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
A second.
Motion by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Gwynn. I'm going with Steve Gwynn on that. Discussion. All right, Caitlin, if you'll call the roll.
Commissioner Joe Begley,
Here.
She already did that.
Here.
We're going to have to roll call vote every vote. So
Oh.
to approve the agenda, we have to roll call it.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz,
Aye.
Vice Chair Franks,
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn,
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffett,
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy Corbett,
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood,
Aye.
Chairman John Reese.
Aye. Okay, so the agenda is approved. I just have to ask this question. Jeff, is that a picture of you behind you?
Yeah, that's me. I'm here.
You look same profile, but there's nothing else very familiar.
Well,
Good looking family.
thank you.
All right, next up is to approve last month's minutes. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Who's the second?
Second.
Jeff seconded.
Okay, I've got a motion by Marcia, second by Jeff to last month's minutes be approved. Any discussion? If not, let's vote. Ms. Maxwell.
Commissioner Joe Begley,
Aye.
Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Vice Chair Marcia Franks,
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn,
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffett,
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith.
Oh, can I ask a question,
Oh, do you want to not vote since you were not present?
please?
Commissioner Stacy Corbett,
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood,
Aye.
Chairman John Grease.
Yes. Okay, the minutes of May 7th are approved. Next up, we have two informal appearances. Let me just make sure. I saw Kira. Is it Kira Moore? Are you online?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Is your broker with you?
He is.
Okay. Mr. Parks, I've seen your picture. You're still on.
Yes.
And is your broker?
Yes, he is.
Okay, thank you. Okay, in each case, we're going to ask our executive director, Caitlin Maxwell, to give us a brief summary of why you're here. At which point we will turn the microphone over to the applicant, Ms. Moore and Mr. Parks, and you can take as long or short a period of time as you want to explain what happened, why it happened, what you've been doing since this happened, anything you think that's pertinent to this commission as we try to decide whether or not to allow you to get a real estate license. Following your comments, the commission can ask you any questions they would like, and you feel free to respond as you wish. And at some point, we'll get tired or be done talking to you and want to talk to your proposed broker. And the commission would like to hear why the broker is interested in having you affiliate with his or her firm. And we reserve the right to ask the broker questions as well. And at some point following that, we'll have a motion to either allow you to continue to get your real estate license or suggest it's probably not appropriate. So with that background, we're going to start with Ms. Moore. Ms. Maxwell, if you give us a little bit of background.
So for you, you have applicant Kira Moore and her principal broker, Joanne Powell. Ms. Moore has not yet taken the Tennessee real estate broker exam. Mr. Powell has been licensed since 1996 and a broker since 1999. The firm is Saxton Clark Enterprises, Inc., doing business as White Guard Realtors. A summary of the charge is felony conspiracy to distribute and possess. Her statement and a letter of recommendation can be found in the packet.
Okay, Ms. Moore,
Yes,
why
sir.
don't you give us all the details that you'd like for us to know?
From that particular charge, that was in 2011, I was charged by the federal government for conspiracy to distribute oxycodone along with 20 some other people. It's a pretty large federal conspiracy.
Miss Moore,
Uh-huh.
one second. Can everyone hear her okay? Can you increase your volume, Kira?
Yes, hold on just a second.
And if everyone else could quickly mute themselves while Ms. Moore speaks, I think that would also be helpful.
Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me?
You're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the charge stems from 2011. I was indicted by the federal government for conspiracy to distribute oxycodone, along with quite a few people that I grew up with in my neighborhood. The background on that was addiction played a huge role in that. Since my incarceration, I completed my probation successfully, all fines and restitution. I went back to college and received my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I founded a nonprofit foundation here in the city of Kingsport in 2017 to help individuals just like myself who were struggling with addiction, transitioning out of incarceration, and I also work with at-risk youth. So I do that. I'm involved with several different community projects. Since then, I became a notary public. And that's a few of my successes since then. So it's the past is the past. I definitely learned from my mistakes, and I'm ready to continue to move forward.
Okay, commissioners, questions for Ms. Moore? Miss Franks.
Good morning, Ms. Moore. So where are you currently employed?
Not right now. I'm not anywhere. I'm the executive director of my nonprofit.
Okay. And so prior to, what was your last job then that you had?
I do taxes and accounting seasonally.
Okay. That's all I have.
Other commissioners?
Hey, John.
Hey, Joe, go.
Hey, this is in my hometown, and I know Dwayne well, so I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Any other questions for Ms. Moore?
This is Bobby. My question is for Ms. Moore. Why do you want to get in real estate?
Real estate for me is a career. As a single mom, it gives me the opportunity to create a sustainable wage to offer my daughter and myself a decent living, and to be able to help in the community the way that I do, and help people find homes and things of that nature.
Other questions? All right. Is Dwayne Powell on the same camera with you, Kira? Or?
Yeah. Hold on, let me get out of this way.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can see you, and Joe Bagley says he knows you, which is maybe a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not sure which at this point.
Known Joe for quite a while.
All right, Dwayne, will you tell us why you're interested in having Ms. Moore affiliate with your company?
Ms. Moore has, she's actually been on the news several times about her nonprofits. It's actually a big thing for her. She's expressed to me that, she messed up whenever she was younger. She's filled me in as to everything that's went on, and I understand the past, but I look at the person that she is now, and I would advocate that she is probably one of the best people that I've run across in a long time. She cares about people. She cares about helping other people, get back up on their feet. And she has the desire, because our company, we're more about the relationship with our clients as opposed to just the money. And she has shown that she would fit in pretty well with us.
All right, questions for Mr. Powell. Ms. Franks.
Hello, Mr. Powell. How long have you known Miss Moore? And how did you meet her?
Well, I also have the real estate school, and she came through my class. No, I did not recruit her. She came to me, and she expressed, what she had done when the class started, and we've had several talks, and I guess it's been 6 to 8 months, somewhere in that point. You can't get a PSI test now until about 5 months after the class, but um, she's actually integrated herself into our office. She comes to our sales meetings. She comes to our training sessions, so I've got to know her pretty well.
So you've already had training with her?
Yes, yeah, we train every week in our office, and she's attended the training. She's involved in the office.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Other questions for Mr. Powell?
Hey, Mr. Powell, this is Bobby Wood. What's the name of your real estate school that you have?
The Real Estate Training and Education Center.
Okay.
Located in Kingsport.
Okay.
Mr. Powell, since we're getting pretty close to voting, but I'd like to ask you a couple of questions after we vote. Did you have a second?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there a motion, or are there other questions for Ms. Moore or Mr. Powell?
I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Kira Moore's application.
Second.
All right. The motion is properly made by Ms. Franks and seconded by Mr. Diaz, and if passed, will allow Ms. Moore to continue on her real estate career. Discussion? If not, Ms. Maxwell will call the roll.
Okay, Commissioner Joe Begley,
He's recusing himself.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz,
Aye.
Vice Chair Mark Franks,
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn,
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffett,
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy Torpet,
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood,
Aye.
Chairman John Creech.
Yes. So that motion passes. Ms. Moore, you're free to keep on going.
Congratulations.
Mr. Powell.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned PSI. Are your students able to take the test now?
I had one that passed it last week, and he told me that they declined him 5 times and put him off 5 times after he had already scheduled his exam. All my students, that right now they're 2 to 3 months out before they can actually get an appointment to sit down for their state exam. And just to give you my opinion on it, for what it's worth, when it's fresh in their minds, they ought to be able to sit down somehow, some way, and take this exam. It's doing them a real disservice coming out of the school. Of course, again, that's my opinion, so for what it's worth.
Well, if I didn't think it was valuable, I wouldn't have asked you. So we appreciate that. Ms. Maxwell, do you have anything you can add? I know we're going to talk about PSI later, but while we've got him here, I think it's going to get better soon.
I do know that they're trying to operate within the social distance guidelines and make sure that candidates are, the 6 feet apart from each other. And unfortunately, that means they can only operate at 50% capacity. I know that we've been, working on and off with PSI over the last couple months, especially when students have issues. And it's one of those things, until the caseload lights up, they're just trying to do what's in the best interest of everyone, and make sure that everyone's following the guidelines. I can talk a little bit more about the online proctoring, either now or during my report.
let's keep it where it is on the agenda. But one more question, Mr. Powell, where do your students, what's the closest testing site?
Johnson City, but a lot of my students actually have to go to Asheville or Asheville, North Carolina to get a earlier date. I've had some that's had to travel as far as Charlotte, North Carolina, in order to sit down for their exam.
See, that can't be considered acceptable.
Yeah, it's a nationwide problem, not just Tennessee.
Understood. All right, thank you for giving us a few extra minutes, Mr. Powell.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Moore, best of luck to you. We expect to hear good things about you and your success.
Thank you.
Take care, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Ms. Moore, Mr. Powell, you can drop off if you'd like, or you're welcome to stay on if you prefer. It's your choice.
All right, y'all have a good evening or day.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Maxwell, we're on to Houston Parks.
Okay, you have applicant Houston Parks and his principal broker, Aaron Wheeler. Mr. Parks has taken the real estate affiliate broker exam. His principal broker has been licensed since 2003 and a broker since 2007. The firm is eXp Realty LLC. A summary of the criminal and disciplinary sanction is felony possession. Mr. Park's statement, a letter of recommendation can be found in your packet.
Okay, Mr. Parks, before we let you talk, if everyone would mute their microphone, I think, or make a special effort to do that. I'm the worst, but that'll be helpful. All right, Mr. Parks, you see how this works. You've got as much time as you need to tell us what had happened, why it happened, what you've been doing since, why you want to get in real estate, anything you'd like for us to know.
Okay. Well, since that fate, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Make sure. Okay. Well, since that fateful night, April 2010, nearly or a little over a decade ago, when I was 22 years old, I was an immature youth, caught up in fantasy and addiction, and it tumbled me. And I ended up serving 8 months in jail and then 30 days in rehab and 6 years on probation just to earn my freedom back. And it was a mighty mistake that I made, and it was painful in every way, but it catapulted me to growing up, which was the key for me. It was almost like I needed that to happen to see the bigger picture. And I knew it at the time. As soon as I got charged, I knew it. And I think I've earned the right to put the past behind me legally, financially, humbly, morally, and my reputation by owning up for the poor choices I've made. And I am a strong man now, and I am active in the NAAA community. Over the past decade, I have worked in the sheet metal industry, and I used to do factory work, and then I joined the union, and I became a journeyman in the Sheet Metal Workers Union, Local 177. And that was hard work. I had to go to school twice a week after work for 36 weeks. And I know the past indiscretions must be addressed because the moral code dictates it must. And trust is a really good trait to have. And I've always been very passionate about real estate, even when I was a kid riding around with my mother just to look at houses. And her whole life she was saying, I wanted to be a real estate agent. I kind of always wanted to be one myself, so that's why I'm getting into it. I think I would do good, and I'm very honest, and I just want to find good people, good homes. I am from a good family. I'm a fifth generation Nashvilleian and a proud father of a 21 and a half month old baby boy. I don't really know what else to say.
That's good. We'll ask you a few questions. Commissioners, Ms. Franks.
Good morning, Mr. Parks. So, Mr. Parks, you've not taken the exam yet, is that correct?
Yes, I've done everything I needed to do and turned it in February 24th.
All right, so you're on the waiting list then. So you don't have a date?
I've passed everything.
Okay, but so PSI's not giving you a date to test yet?
Oh, no, I took that in December last year.
Oh, you took the exam, the real estate exam. Okay. We had you down as you had not taken the exam. So what are you doing now? Where do you work now?
Well, since the COVID-19 things happened, daycare has been closed, and I've been cutting grass when I can get my mother to watch my son, which my mother just retired, so she's gonna help me out a lot, and she's helping me out right now, actually. But I've pretty much been a stay-at-home dad for the past 6-7 months. I do catering jobs for Sandra's Catering, but lately it's only been lunches, and we haven't been doing full like weddings and stuff that we usually do.
So how are you preparing yourself to start up your real estate business?
Well, I've been on the EXP world pretty much just taking the training courses that I can and learning the technology. I've been reading books, just investment books, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just constantly reading and constantly watching YouTube videos on what to do and how to do it good or better. There's in this information age, it's kind of shocking how much you can learn just from sitting in front of a YouTube screen.
So how did you become acquainted with EXP?
Well, I was interviewing brokerages in February, and I went to Keller Williams and a few others, and I was about to join Keller Williams, and somebody told me about EXP. And so I went to one of their meetings out in Cool Springs at Jonathan's Grill, and I think it's the way to go. If you're going to get in the business, I just think it's the way to go. And I'm not very computer savvy, so this is kind of forcing me to become computer savvy and tech savvy.
So how do you know your proposed principal broker? Is it Jaron or Garen?
Garen.
Garen Wheeler. How do you know Mr. Wheeler?
We have met through Brandon Patrick is the broker that pretty much, that he's sponsoring me to be in EXP. And I met Garen through Brandon Patrick.
So how many times have you been with Mr. Wheeler?
We've only met online. Pretty much everything we do on EXP is online. Meetings, training, everything.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Other commissioners, questions for Mr. Parks? Okay, Steve.
Yes, Mr. Parks, thank you for coming in, and your desire to sell real estate, I think, is honorable. And I got to take my hat off to anybody that comes in front of the commission in this kind of situation. Just curious about your work at the sheet metal company. So you're not working there anymore? Is it your employment terminated, or was it did the company go out of business, or kind of what happened there?
No, I could join it and get back into it in any day I want. They call me regularly. I was challenged with becoming a single full-time parent. August 12th of 2018. And since then, I haven't been able to work a full-time job. I've been living on savings and doing catering, cutting lawns, getting help from family, both sides of the family. But no, they're still booming in business.
Oh, okay.
I actually recruit for them.
Excellent. Okay. So your thought is then that the real estate industry has a little bit more flexibility as far as time is concerned, meaning you could work your own schedule more so than at the sheet metal shop. Is that pretty much correct? Okay.
The sheet metal, they're usually from like 6 a.m. to 4:30, 5:30 p.m. And it's kind of hard to find a daycare to drop. I can't, like, the daycare I had my son in was, the earliest you could take him there was 6:30. So if I got to be at work at 6, I can't.
Got it. All right, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Other commissioners?
I just have a comment. You said you're not very computer savvy, but you're the only one that has a super cool virtual background in this WebEx call. So you know a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, that's what I've been spending this whole quarantine, I guess. I guess we're still in quarantine or back. I'm not sure, but that's what I've been doing, is watching YouTube videos on how to pretty much use a computer. I wasn't very good at emails until 4 months ago.
That was all I had. I like his background.
Thank you, Stacy. Hey, Houston, you mentioned that you were active in some community and used an acronym to describe. What is that community?
NA and AA, the Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous, any anonymous. I'm a big supporter of it. It changed my life. If it wasn't for that community, I don't know how easy it would have been to turn my life around. But with that community, it has made it. It hasn't been easy, but it's easy now.
Well, congratulations on that. Other questions for Mr. Parks? If not, Mr. Wheeler, will you show your face and tell us why you're interested in having Mr. Parks affiliate with EXP?
Morning. Mr. Parks, by way of one of our after living on a phone call, a conference call with Mr. Brandon Patrick, I truly felt that this is an individual that kind of has learned by way of hard knocks of life and the choices that he made previous, but experience, I feel he has in life where he understands purpose, he understands vision, and he truly has passion for his son. And after this, we have 40 plus hours of training that we do throughout our online virtual campus. And after, again, inviting Mr. Parks to our online campus, I always see him in our training meetings. Even though he is not currently licensed, he has showed the passion to be involved and learn all he can by showing up to our training classes. So I really feel that based upon his community right now.
All right, questions for Mr. Wheeler. Ms. Franks.
Good morning, Mr. Wheeler. Nice to meet you. Can you tell me a little bit about what your, how long you've been in real estate and your background in real estate?
And absolutely. Real estate, back degree right after graduating Johnny Guthman's Mortuary College in Nashville. My family background is in the funeral service industry, but over the years, I served the community in Hendersonville, Billingsville, Tennessee. And then eventually got my broker license and opened my own firm in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and did that for a while, and did television contract with Fox 17 with Charlie Chase and Kelly Sutton, and that came on in 2000 and moved to Gatlinburg. We had some investment properties out there, and I decided to just kind of learn the area and maybe kind of relax a little bit. But then I started practicing in East Tennessee, and then in, I believe, roughly around 2012, moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, and practiced there for a while, and then eventually started to get licensed in Dallas, Texas. So I started practicing in Texas in 2015, and I was commuting via a private airline back and forth from Tennessee to Texas, and then I left XP and relocated back to Tennessee to launch eXp Realty out of Knoxville, and then eventually transitioned into a state broker position with corporate here in Nashville, and a designated managing broker over the entire state, but we have multiple branch office locations, and I believe within eXp right at 700 plus or minus agents across the state of Tennessee.
And so these branch offices, how many branch offices are there across Tennessee?
Branch offices, we have some that are going with a branch office. We have a corporate approval process that we go through to make sure that feasibly it makes sense and that the broker is qualified to truly provide supervision for the agents that are be under their license. That was something that I had a conference call with, I believe, Mrs. Maxwell or Mrs. Anna Matlock was on that call, and a few other representatives from the state there. And we kind of explored and laid out the geography of eXp Realty and branch office locations.
So do you have 8 firm licenses then?
Sorry.
Do you have 8 firm licenses then?
Are you saying A or A?
8, number 8.
I believe so. I believe our spreadsheet, but at approval application.
And so those offices are not open yet?
We have multiple that are open in East Tennessee. We have one in Cleveland, Tennessee. We have one in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We've got one in Sevierville, one in Memphis, have one in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. And then we've got several that are in process. And once we issue corporate approval, we will allow them to go ahead and make application with you all.
So the firms that you have open now in East Tennessee, they all have firm licenses then?
Absolutely.
And physical addresses?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
And principal brokers? And so help me understand then what your position, you said that you were, do you own the Tennessee franchise?
We are actually not a franchise company. We are a publicly traded company. So agents are actually shareholders in the company. We are publicly traded on NASDAQ. So we are truly We are truly one brokerage operating in multiple states and under TREC compliance and compliance in the agents as well, but we are publicly traded and the agents are shareholders in the company.
And what you said in the beginning, something about your position over the whole state. What is your position over the whole state?
Yes, I am the designated managing broker. So I mean, the DXP is that I am from corporate responsible for every single agent, branch office location, broker in the state. So I basically see corporate and broker and also of our legal at each. However, I am the managing broker in the eyes for our national. Our national.
And where is your Nashville location?
That is at 3200 West End Avenue. We're Suite 500 there.
And how often are you at that office?
I was at that office probably pre-COVID. Now that COVID has came, there's a medical facility, Baptist, is in that same building. So there was some COVID exposure there, and again, they evacuated the building, and they're slowly opening up the building again.
Okay. So do you, so how many agents do you have that you oversee?
For the entire state of Tennessee?
Yes.
Our roster for the entire state, we are 71, and there is 30.
But you also said that those firms in East Tennessee had a firm. So are those people directly under those principal brokers there?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And so do you sell yourself?
That are past clients, really out of the Murray County community. Wait on those clients 30 in the evening.
One second, please. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, while we have you, we've had some discussions in the past on virtual companies that they don't pay the commissions or write the checks themselves. They actually let the closing agents pay them, and is that true, or how do y'all handle your closings and the commission checks that are written?
Yeah, so basically, within our company, that is a structure. We call it a single check state or a split check state. Tennessee check state, and course, the company system called SkySlope, check and a copy. We do a final review of the complete contract and issue a broker approval. Then our payment processing team, they'll make sure that from compliance the numbers match up. And as long as everything matches up, we will go ahead and direct deposit once we approve the file. We do not wait on the settlement statement and check that was FedEx from the title company to corporate. We do not wait to receive that.
What do you do if something doesn't close?
Meaning that if the file doesn't close, then again, if we don't have a signed settlement statement, we do not pay our rate. only pay once we have a signed state, and all of them max agent.
Okay, I guess that's all I have right now, Mr. Grace. Thank you, Mr. Wheeler.
Other questions? Mr. Leland? Okay, Bobby, go ahead. I'll wait.
I just had a couple questions. I was going to talk, just find out a little bit more about the training. It sounds like you're saying you're talking about we have training, but everything is online. So am I right in that, making that assumption?
We do have local-based training. Every legal department to advise company-wide that all in real life training cease due to COVID. Now, where we offer 40 hours plus of training. Now, that training is also corporate based. We have roughly 600 employees positioned around the world. And in our education department, we have a education schedule that is training that the agent can. Now, our virtual world, truly the investment made in it. We have avatars, and our avatars can talk. I mean, it's just like you and I talking here today, but everything is the and you know, offer that also from a corporate standpoint to a lot of companies. Daily uses our platform. We have colleges using our platform that we operate within. However, we do have 10 and that is we have trainings roughly 3 days a week that are going over the code of ethics, Tennessee TREC compliance, advertising compliance, best practices, all of the measures that allows an agent to continue paying. Again, Mr. Park has spent a lot of time in our virtual world showing up trainings, and again, we don't see that often from someone, a new agent that is looking to be licensed. They wait till they're licensed to come into the world and attend trainings.
Okay, let's talk about in the pre-COVID world. Okay, were there ever situations where you or live people sit down and met with your agents and helped?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
How much was that happening? I mean, well, like, where do y'all meet?
Well, we do meetings, a lot of meetings at Jonathan's. As Mr. Hart stated, we basically have sponsors that will come and speak, and they take care of the lunch that's provided. I speak and talk on various other brokers that are previous brokers. So we also have we have trainings in our office that takes place. However, West End, when it was shut, so we would things at all locations to make it convenient for our agent.
Okay. Now, would it not be fair to kind of that meeting that you're talking about having at Jonathan's? Would that be fair to say that's more of a recruiting meeting than a training meeting? Because it's not like that's where Mr. Parks kind of met some people there.
No, sir. We have now. They do have. Brendan Patrick does host some recruiting meetings, but from corporate, I don't get involved in the recruiting aspect of it, nor do I do any recruiting to talk about, various items that previous TREC complaint that, we and we try to educate our agents how to avoid getting principles of advertising. We talk about open houses. We talk, that we talk on, on a week.
And I guess I have another question too on the letter that you sent to the Real Estate Commission, in that it talked about that you had known Mr. Parks for a few months, but I kind of heard from Mr. Parks that he knew Brandon Patrick, and then maybe it just got introduced to you online. So when you said that you've known him for a few months or like that, is that really a truthful statement or?
Absolutely, because we've been having these discussions, Mr. Parks, and we've got emails going back and forth, and seeing him in the world. My initial discussion with Brandon Parks happened several months back, and I've been talking with Mr. Parks, and to be honest with you, I'm very transparent. Several to get to know him, or give him an.
So I guess it sounds like a lot of the training's being done by this avatars and stuff like that. So if the way EXP looks at it, if Mr. Parks has a problem and the Real Estate Commission would feel that he's having a problem and maybe he's not properly being trained or something, should the Real Estate Commission bring the avatar in for a conversation, or who would they bring in? I mean, like if Mr. Parks is trained improperly, who are we gonna blame?
Okay, so I'm trying to understand the question. You said, will the Real Estate Commission bring the avatar in? Or
I'm being silly. My point being, it sounds like a lot of the training is being done by computer and not by anybody that we would hold responsible. And I think the intent of the Real Estate Commission rules were, if the agents are being trained wrong, we can't bring a computer in and smash it. We want to talk to the broker who's doing it wrong, and that's my own concern. But
so someone's mic is open. We have a platform that workplace for business, and our complete leadership team is accessible via copied on it. We have a state email that is copied for our Tennessee leadership team. I have a cell phone that is available, and I also am able to meet my agents in person if need be. So we feel that we truly have a better platform as far as compliance from any other brokerages out there, because I'm able to if it's via avatar, if it's in person, we feel that our agents are provided having to do versus our agents to
Anything else, Bobby?
I think I'm finished.
Okay, other questions?
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Diaz. Mr. Diaz.
Mr. Real, I guess I'm going to kind of probe some of the same areas that other commissioners have, but make it more one-on-one. If let's say Mr. Parks is the gunner that he's always been, he comes in and he has a client, and who's going to make sure that that client gets all the appropriate documents, all the appropriate disclosures, that his file is complete, and that kind of stuff? Because you're the state lead of 700 agents, so I don't think you're going to do it. So who's the principal broker that is going to supervise Mr. Parks and his work with the clients, so it can be his legal and ethical obligations?
is me, myself, and we have an excellent platform called SkySlope, where we manage all of the agent's transactions. We review everything, and we correspond with the agents inside of SkySlope. Let's say instantly open there. We can comment or note the file and correspond with the agent. File. So again, leveraging through the systems and tools and technology that's out there, our company investment provide the service for the number of agents that we do have.
Jeff, anything else? Jeff, you're muted if you're trying to talk. Mr. Wheeler, I have a couple questions for you. So there's 700 plus EXP agents in Tennessee, but you're the principal broker for how many of those? Mr. Wheeler.
I'll give you an accurate number. This is daily, so bear with me just 1 second here.
Approximately how many? I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Plus?
300 or 400?
There. Let's see. Just 1 second. Yeah, there's 300 plus by the agents that are in the joint.
So while I've had time listening to you talk, just for the heck of it, if an agent is licensed at West End in Nashville, Tennessee, it's your agent, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So if I happen to go and just type in Chattanooga real estate agent EXP, and there's an agent that pops up and it says he's licensed or she's licensed at West End in Nashville, then shouldn't that agent have the Nashville address and phone number in its advertising? Well, do you check that? I mean, why can't I just find that just like that?
That's what we speaking of.
I forget who the person is. I'm curious about whether your talk is good or you actually do supervise. I mean, because I can find that quick just from doing one quick search. I need to be assured that that you're going to be able to supervise Mr. Parks. This one-on-one is what I'm worried about at this point.
Absolutely. We do have a branch office location in Chattanooga. I don't know what you're.
Now, the one I just looked up is licensed at like 5500 West End, Nashville, Tennessee. So that's the address and phone number should be in that advertising.
Yes, 3200 West End.
Yep. And so if you've got 300 agents that you're responsible for, surely virtually you can check on their advertising. That's your job.
I think we need to get back to the informal at hand.
I'm with you. I'm going there, Caitlin. That's why I want to find out. Back to Mr. Parks now. Is there somebody between you and Mr. Parks that's going to be his trainer and who he responds to, or is it to you? What does that mean?
That Brandon is there to help him get acclimated the EXP systems and make how to put it through the system. And then from a compliance standpoint, and Brandon also will, teach him how to market himself. And from a compliance standpoint, I manage all the contracts, I manage all of the advertising and the broker supervision.
All right, other questions? Ms. Franks.
Mr. Wheeler, what is your process for approving advertising? What would Mr. Parks need to know if he wanted to do an ad? What would you need to tell him?
Yes, absolutely. So is once he had his proof of what he's wanting to do, he would email that our 618 web and then copy EXP marketing to corporate. And we're going to review that for state compliance and also for corporate compliance. And then once it is approved on state level, it's then looked at from a corporate standpoint. And once it's approved for corporate, then we send it back to Mr. Parks and it's approved. And that isn't
okay.
That isn't our independent.
Okay, so when Mr. Parks receives an earnest money check, one of my agents sells one of his properties and they give him an earnest money check. What does he do with that earnest money check?
Our non-earnest, so we do not earnest money check. Those are sent to the title company or the listing and do hold escrow.
Okay, you've mentioned a couple of times Mr. Brandon Patrick, and I know him, he's a great guy. I'm wondering, you said he was his sponsor. So if Mr. Parks has a question, for instance, as a principal broker today, this afternoon, I'm meeting with one of my agents who has a difficult contract, and we need to discuss that contract. If Mr. Parks has something like that, would he call Brandon Patrick his sponsor, or would he call his principal broker you? I didn't hear that.
Contact me.
He would contact you. Okay, that's all the questions I have.
All right, other questions? If not, is there a motion?
I have one question.
Okay, Joe, why don't you go and then Bobby?
Mr. Wheeler, is Mr. Patrick a licensed broker?
Mr. Patrick does. He is not a principal broker.
Is he is a broker though?
Yes.
Okay.
Bobby.
Mr. Wheeler, in all my years of real estate, I have, and it's very constant for us brokers. We'll say, or somebody will say, how many agents do you have? In all my years, I have never had one broker that's had to look on a spreadsheet to have an idea how many agents that have. That concerns me, that you have no idea how many agents you have. The reason Mr. Parks is before us is because it's determined that he needs some special guidance. And if you can't even have an idea on how many agents you got, I'm not convinced you can provide the guidance that the Real Estate Commission is wanting him to have. So I got concerns. So,
other comments? If not, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
What is your motion, Stacy?
My motion is to approve Mr. Parks' request.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, so motion is properly made and seconded, and if passed, Mr. Parks will be allowed to continue on to get his real estate license. If it fails, then we'll have to figure out something else. Discussion on the motion. All right, I want to ask Ms. Maxwell to call the roll. If you're in favor of the motion, which is to allow Mr. Parks to go forward, you'll vote yes. If you're opposed, you'll vote no. Ms. Maxwell.
Commissioner Beckley,
Aye.
Commissioner Diaz, Jeff Diaz,
He's
Vice Chair
muted.
Marsha Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Jessica Collette.
Aye.
Sorry, I have to go back to Jeff. Commissioner Jeff Diaz, Jeff, I hear you. Okay. Commissioner John Moffett,
Yes.
Joan Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy Torbett,
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood,
No.
Commissioner John Greaves.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Mr. Parks, you're set to go to your next stage, man. Good luck.
Good luck to you.
Mr. Whalen. All right, commissioners, would you like to take a break, or what's your pleasure? We're going to try to make this as painless as possible.
I need a break a minute. Bobby
Let's,
does.
let's all stand by for 2 or 3 minutes. Come back in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Aye.
Joe, how's that pool project?
It's good.
On time?
I'm not doing it too late.
Oh, no.
You have to plan on coming up in August.
When's her birthday?
Her birthday's the 23rd of July, but
I thought that was the deadline.
that is the deadline, but we're pushing it.
I got you.
Speed it up, Grease. Speed it up.
I'm trying to. People want a break. Hey, Jeff. Jeff Diaz. Joe. Joe Begley.
Hey, John. Here. I'm here.
Okay, Jeff, are you here? Joe, how about turning your picture on? Thank you. Good job. All right, Jeff, I'm not sure if you can hear me. We can't hear you.
Yeah. What?
Can you, Jeff?
He says he's here on the chat. We can't hear you, Jeff. I saw your message that you are here.
He's currently muted.
Okay, we're gonna go on, Jeff. Okay.
My screen said he just has bandwidth. Oh, there you go.
He's gonna come back on.
Okay, Caitlin, let's get on to Jeffrey Abbott and his request for a medical waiver.
Okay. Jeffrey Abbott is a licensed individual that reached out to us for a medical waiver request. In your packet, you received an overview of his license status and the request, and a doctor's note as well. If you have any questions about it, I'm happy to answer them. He's asking for a waiver of the $595 late penalty.
Commissioners, Marcia.
So I'm just wondering, we got very little information. He's wanting the $595 fee waiver, and he's expired as an affiliate broker. So I'm wondering about that. Is he still an expired?
Yes, he's still expired. We did go ahead and pay at least the renewal fee. So he has paid the $75, and he's met all other requirements for renewal other than the late penalty. And that's the late penalty that he had at the time that this was submitted.
So he has his E&O current?
Yes.
And then I'm wondering about the letter that was written on May 21st of 2020, where the doctor says it's basically saying going forward, he needs to do social distancing with his condition, and that he wouldn't be able to do like continuing education. So does he have all his education?
I'm going to double check, but the staff member that's been working with him wrote this up and said that he had full education. So let me just verify 100%.
And I guess the reason for that is, I guess I'm wanting to know why he's unable. Why did he not do it? Was he sick during this time, or what? It's so the doctor's note, it only goes to he's been sick and he needs to social distance and not take the CE. But I know we have lots of classes that you don't have to sit in person for, so I'm wondering.
Yes. He did complete all of his CE, the renewal cycle. He has the 16 hours.
So what is the problem here?
The problem, I guess, was he's saying that due to his medical issues, he was unable to renew his license at the time of expiration. And so he's asking for a waiver of the $595 penalty.
And how much time transpired during that time?
I believe his first correspondence with us was somewhere around April or May. I'm thinking May based off of the doctor's note.
And his license expired in November of 2019?
Yes, that's correct.
Have you spoken personally with him, Caitlin?
I have not spoken personally with him. He has spoken to a number of our staff members. Really, a medical waiver is the only, obviously other than a governor's executive order or something of that nature, this is really the only avenue for a waiver of the fees. And so he reached out to us and said that that's why he was unable to renew his license is based on ongoing medical issues.
Question.
Steve.
Caitlin, what's the medical waiver? It's a medical waiver of $595 under what? Is this under a Tennessee rural state law or Tennessee or the governor's? What is this?
The rule for the medical waiver request is under rule. I can pull it up for you. It's under the same rules as reinstatement. And the fee is based on the number of months expired. So the first 120 days that you're expired, it's a $50 fee per month, and that's in rule. And it's a $100 fee for every month after 120 days up to 1 year. And once you're past 1 year, the rule is pretty clear that you must retest once your license has expired.
The fee ratchets up as time goes on, but you're asking so if you say, if I have a heart attack or something, you can waive the, I don't even understand what a medical waiver is.
So let me pull up the rule for you.
Am I reading this wrong?
Steve, if you look in the chat, I placed the rule number that's provided. It's Rule 1260-01-.211. It covers expired.
You're going to really stress me on hitting some buttons and I'll screw something up, probably. What is it?
1260. What?
So the rule is 1260-01-.21.
60-01- Okay.
0.21.
0.21. Okay.
And if you look in, do you have your green book with you?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. So the rule says If a licensee fails to renew their license within 60 days after expiration of license because of a personal or family health issues, and as a result wishes to request a medical waiver, then they have to provide a signed statement from the doctor and submit a statement explaining the lapse. And then if the commission grants the medical waiver request, renewal fees must be paid and all other conditions for licensure must be met, but late penalties will not be assessed. So it provides people to submit a waiver written to us for certain medical or family problems.
And
But I'm not convinced in this case that any of this applies, because I'm looking on this person's online. They got all of their education in and completed on the 23rd of November of 2019.
So that's a little bit misleading. Our system does not allow someone to renew unless their education is within the renewal cycle. So his education has been backdated.
Okay. So when did he get his education?
So it looks like education was backdated. His education was updated on June 10th.
Okay.
At least one of the courses. Yeah, it's like all 16 hours were updated on June 10th.
Marcia. You're muted, Marcia.
so from reading the 1260-01.21, here's what was missing. From my understanding too, is the number 2, submit a statement explaining the lapse, which must be signed by the person seeking reinstatement. That's what we're missing. We don't know about the lapse. We don't know why it happened. So we're missing that. So I don't know how we could approve it and that's one of the requirements for a medical waiver.
Yes, we had to request something more official. What we've gotten from Mr. Abbott was more like email correspondence with the request, which is why I did not include that in your packet. So, we can delay this until August and wait for an official letter if that's what the commission would prefer.
Did you ask him for that statement and he didn't supply it, or did we not tell him he needed to do that?
No, we did. We have corresponded with him asking for the official request.
And he did not provide it.
He was not able to provide it in time to get it to you.
One last question is the 595, is that the maximum number? If you wait, what's the max roughly? Is it double that or?
Is roughly closer to $1,000.
Got it. All right.
Once you're at the 1 year mark.
Okay.
Okay. No other questions or comments. Is there a motion to approve, to disapprove, to postpone?
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion, and I'm just going to err on the side of trying to give him some grace, is that we defer this until next month and when he needs to submit a statement explaining the lapse, and he needs to sign that.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Franks made the motion to defer for 30 days. Mr. Diaz seconded the motion. Is there discussion on the motion?
Can I add to that motion?
Sure.
Can we get an updated letter from the medical about when his stuff started? Like, did it start in April or did it start back in, because it was back in November. So you would think it started last fall. Just kind of like how long he's been in care. You know what I'm saying, Caitlin?
That would be good.
Ask for an updated note as well.
Something that states when the care started, when you started the care.
Okay, Steve.
While we're in discussion mode, I'm wondering if Caitlin thinks that postponing it 30 days is going to make any difference or not. It sounds like she's reached out to him to try to get a more formal statement without success. So the question is, what good is 30 days going to do? Or do you think he'll just go ahead and pay his $5.95 and move on down the road, or what?
I mean, I think there's a chance that if we tell them that it was presented to the commission and that they're waiting for the second requirement, that he's gonna submit it.
Because he's going to owe more money when we defer this for another month. He's going to owe more money.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to give him a little grace and let him provide it because obviously he is sick. But we just, I don't know how we can approve it without all the information.
Let me say one thing. I don't believe if we defer for 30 days, he'll have to pay an additional month's late fee. I think, don't we kind of stop the clock, Caitlin, when we get to this point?
We typically do stop the clock as they submit the request and pay the renewal fee, just because you guys meet on a monthly basis. So we want to, we don't want to necessarily fall on the person if they're delayed on our behalf. And I think this one, for example, would have probably been on the June agenda. We met in June.
So I'm okay with this, just voting and see where everybody stands either way.
Well, at the moment, there's a motion on the floor to defer for 30 days.
Right.
So unless somebody offers a substitute motion, or the maker of the motion and the second withdraws the motion, we're going to vote on the motion.
Let's vote.
Okay, Caitlin, the motion is.
I think Joan had something.
Did the motion include holding the fee at the $595?
Yeah, that's yes. That's staff's decision, and that's what's been done.
Okay, thank you.
So the motion is to defer to the July meeting, ask for additional information. Caitlin.
Okay. Commissioner Jackley.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz.
Aye.
Chair Marcia Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn.
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffitt. John, I think you might be on mute.
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy Torbett.
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood.
Aye.
Chairman John Greaves.
Yes. So that motion passes, and we'll address it next month. Hey, Joe, what's that dog's name?
Dixon.
Get him over here on the screen.
Red Dixon.
All right. Thank you. All right, next up is the Education Director's Report. Mr. White, I know you're around.
I am here, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission.
Can you show us your face?
Yes, I'm
Thank
on.
you.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little warm here in Nashville, Tennessee today. I hope everybody's having a good, safe day, and miss seeing you in person. I hope we get to do that one of these months. And greetings to our new commissioner, Commissioner Smith. If I can help you in any way, by the way, please let me know. I am your education director, and I've reviewed today's agenda, numbers J1 through J28. There are new providers, one instructor, and all the courses. I present them for your approval today, commissioners.
Okay, let's start with the courses. Does any commissioner wish to pull a course off that list of J1 through J28? All right, I hear no such desire. So is there a motion to approve J1 through 28?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve courses J1 through J28.
A motion by Mr. Diaz, second by Bobby Wood, that the Education Director's recommendation be adopted and courses J1 through J28 be approved. Ms. Maxwell.
Okay, Commissioner Joe Begley,
Aye.
Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Vice Chair Marsha Frank,
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn,
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffitt,
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy Tor,
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood,
Yes.
Chairman John Grease.
Yes. So that motion passes unanimously. Now, Ross, you got one instructor. You want to tell us about him?
If you would, Mr. Chairman, yes, you can look at the look at your iPads there, or what you have. But I have one instructor background. Let's see, for Mr. Benjamin Crosby. He comes to us from Florida. I think you can read there some of his achievements and so forth, and he wishes to be the instructor for the Realtors Land Institute course. That's all I have for you. I submit him for your approval.
Okay, commissioners.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Frank, seconded by Mr. Wood, that the education director's recommendation be adopted and Benjamin Crosby be approved to teach in Tennessee, or Tennessee courses. Discussion. Ms. Maxwell.
Okay, Commissioner Joe Begley,
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner or Vice Chair Marsha Frank,
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn,
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffitt,
Yeah, aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy Corbett,
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood,
Aye.
Chairman John Grease.
Yes. So that motion passes unanimously. Ross, appreciate your report. Do you have anything you want to mention on these streaming courses? Have you been able to sit in on any of those?
I have. It's going very successfully. I think it's one of the best things that could have happened during this COVID-19 time. It's just been a successful endeavor. The folks have the guidelines and they send them to me. They mention and of course they give me a Zoom link so I can get on. And it's going very well. I haven't had any problems with it.
Have you had pressure for us to extend it past the end of this year at this point?
Not at this point, but at least through the end of the year, we're good to go. But I hadn't heard anything beyond that.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. White? I don't hear him, Ross. Thank you for your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Y'all stay safe.
Thank you. Okay, Caitlin, we're to your report now, including if there's anything else you want to say about PSI.
Okay. So I did this in May as well, but I've started to add some additional numbers as far as month over month, just to track initial applications. And what we're seeing is reflective of PSI's capacity. So they're only operating at 50%. So we've had roughly 50% decrease in initial application. And then I think we're also seeing it with complaints as far as complaints being down in the month of June. We did have a call with PSI to discuss online proctoring, and we did ask them to go ahead and move forward with that process. It is a minimum of a 6-month process, so there's many steps along the way, but we figured it would be better to go ahead and get the ball rolling since the lag time is so long. I am in contact currently with our PSI contact because people are having an issue getting tested. And like Marcia mentioned, it is not just in Tennessee. We're seeing the same thing across the board. I recently helped somebody set up for the test in Texas, and they also could not get into that location, I believe in Dallas, until roughly the same amount of wait time that it is in Tennessee. So I know testers are very frustrated, but I know PSI is trying to, make sure that everyone stays safe and operate in the social distance guidelines. Does anybody have any questions about the testing or the proctoring?
I wanted to ask on this report, your executive director's report, it says March, April, May, July. Did you mean for that to be June?
I didn't include June because we did not meet in June. That's why I had left that off.
So July, that's how many we have so far in July up to this date.
Yes, that system is in real time. So when I log on, it's how many we have. So I think I ran this report last Wednesday. So that was, I think, as of July 1st.
So it looks like we do have a little uptick, I think, in our numbers because it's very similar to what we had in May, and we're only halfway in the month, not even halfway in the month of July.
Yes, we have had, if you look at the top one does it by profession. And so it seems like we have had a slight increase in affiliate broker licensees, but some of the other numbers you'll see are just slightly lower. The real estate broker is also lower, not by a lot. So I think some of that could be people letting their license expire or not having yet renewed it. The second one is by status. So that has all active, and active licensees are just slightly down. And that active includes real estate agents, affiliate brokers, and then timeshare salespeople. I also want to let the commission know that it is an E&O bid year. So we recently opened up the bid for the E&O contract for the state. And then I just also wanted to do a plug that on 1/1/2021 is when about 80% of our licensees E&O is set to expire. So we're gearing up for that. And then just another plug that if you haven't done your Title VI training, they are really on us this year to get that done. So that is due by July 17th. And I think impressively, about 50% of you guys have done it. So thank you for that. And then the other last thing I wanted to mention is just on the financials. You will see, and I actually just received May yesterday, so I'll make sure to email that to everyone. But that we are just slightly in the red for the month of April. I think a lot of that is due to our licensing revenue being down and PSI being closed for the full month of April. So we really were not getting nearly the applications that we typically get.
Caitlin?
Yes.
I know in some years past that under our former governor, that there were times when the state swept our account and took out considerable amounts of our money. And I'm just wondering if there's been, because of the COVID and the status of the financial situation in the state of Tennessee, has there been any talk about that happening that you know of?
I think that's definitely a concern. People that have been at the department for longer than me talk of that happening previously. There has not been any direct talk of that, but I do think is definitely a possibility. At this point, they have just asked, I believe, the department to cut, I think it was roughly 12% of our budget, and luckily that was able to be done mostly, I believe, through real estate and not through staffing or any other budget lines. So I haven't heard any, that's going to happen, but I think it is definitely a possibility.
Thank you.
Steve?
This is a question for Caitlin Moore. This is for because I'm one of the new commissioners. On your second chart, that line item called suspended, those numbers are kind of going up and down pretty good. How does that happen? In other words, do people get suspended for not paying, and then they're still included in the individual category? So it's in other words, if there's let's call it in July, there's 36,546 active individuals. Are 571 of those suspended, or are they pulled out of that, or see what I'm saying?
So, yes, it's out of that. And that number is primarily related to E&O. We run our E&O suspension once a month. It's typically run on the 15th of every month. And so at that time, the system, anyone that does not have a current policy is suspended. That's why you see that number fluctuating. Anyone that has their license suspended due to E&O has roughly 30 days to get their E&O in compliance without penalty. And then after that, they do start accruing a penalty for having a lapse in E&O coverage. So I'm sure in January that number will be even higher, just due to the number of people that renew their E&O at that time.
So it takes a number of months before a suspended person would be not included in the 36,000 number, right?
Yeah, so typically what happens is their license is suspended for a lapse in E&O. We send out a letter to them at their firm and at their main address on their file, and also send one to the principal broker. And so people pretty quickly, I guess I would say maybe 50% of them pretty quickly get their E&O back in compliant before they ever become penalized.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions for Caitlin?
This is Bobby. I have a question. And can you just give me the short answer? Now, what exactly is the PSI proctor?
It would be offering candidates the option to take the test remotely online, and the proctor would be virtual like this. And I believe, without having my notes in front of me, it's roughly a 1 to 8 proctoring for online proctoring. So they're watching you take the test. They log in your browser. We have the option of limiting what somebody can take into the exam. Right now, they're able to take a calculator, and then PSI provides them with one spare piece of paper if they want to, write down their problems. And they obviously check everything that's on them. But so this. They're doing this with other states, and I believe they told me in insurance and a couple other professions. But they also will have, you can set it up to where they have stop breaks where they have you, rotate your computer and your camera and, they check your area. You have to show, any kind of materials that you have. So I felt very secure hearing all of their procedures as far as online proctoring goes. Is that fair?
Yeah, I like the idea.
Yeah, I think it would be beneficial, especially right now when we can't get tested.
Sure.
Okay, Caitlin. So I got to talk to Aaron for a moment this morning. You all are about to be turned loose to start going back to the office. That's one question or comment if you'd like to make that. And number two, how's the staff doing working remotely?
Staff are doing great. They love working remotely. They were already working 3 days a week at home. But with many of them living, over an hour from the building, and a lot of them are caretakers or parents. So I know a lot of them have had concerns about coming into the office. Yes, they have implemented a building reopening plan. It's still not, fully reopened, but the building, just kind of the high points of the building reopening plan involves 3-ish staff members from regulatory boards here a day, and visitors looking to come to the building would be asked to make an appointment. And through that appointment, they, would answer some questions about their health, and just making sure that they're not sick or have not been exposed. And then they're also asked to wear a mask. So the goal is, especially with our visitors, many of them we can help over the phone or online, and it's actually quicker. Especially as far as the payment system goes. If somebody pays online, we're able to immediately work their application and get it approved if they meet all of the requirements. It's actually a little bit slower if they come in and pay, because then it has to go through our payment system, and it takes a little bit longer to hit. So we're obviously trying to help people before they make the trip downtown to Nashville. But anybody that shows up would just be asked to make an appointment when they get here, and then we'll help them from there.
Okay, so, and I should have asked you about this before, but what do you think the chances are before next month's meeting, you could have a proposed 2021 calendar? Assuming we're going to, if you could circulate it before next month's meeting, we could see if there are any dates that are really blackout dates. Is that a possibility?
Yep, that's definitely a possibility. And I guess, does everybody want to stick with, what are we at, the second Wednesday of the month primarily?
Let's assume that's the case and see what we have in those rooms, that room that we like to meet in. See if we can get that on our calendar.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
I can
I appreciate it.
prove that, and I will circulate it prior to the meeting, so everyone can check their calendar.
Yeah, I'd like to get that approval. Good. Marcia?
And on that note, I would also like to know, I know that we're required by law to meet one time a year in West Tennessee and one time in East Tennessee. So what are we going to do about West Tennessee, and what is the plan for East Tennessee?
That's definitely in discussion here at the department. To my knowledge, the executive order has not specifically covered that. But so far, it's given the allowance to meet electronically through the end of August. So I think that's something that we'll have to have further discussions on, and I can report back on that in August. Obviously, if we're not meeting in person, we can't meet in a different area of the state. So,
Marcia, I will tell you that both Jackson and Chattanooga are on standby to host.
Okay, great.
Any other questions for Caitlin?
Chattanooga's not East Tennessee.
What, Joe?
Chattanooga's not East Tennessee.
Well, now that you're on the board, you can start lobbying for locations and meetings in your hometown if you'd like. We're happy for you to do.
Help me out, Stacy.
Chattanooga is not in East Tennessee. You're right.
And Middle Tennessee doesn't want them either.
We need a meeting in East Tennessee, Upper East Tennessee. How about?
Oh, Chattanooga was Georgia.
Maybe it is. All right. Anything else for Caitlin? She's doing a heck of a job. Very accessible. I've had Steve, just to follow up on one thing you asked about earlier. The worst call I get is from a licensee who says, my license has been expired for more than a year. What can you do to keep me from having to retest and start over? And there's nothing we can do about it. And Caitlin's pretty good about telling them there's nothing we can do about it. And coincidentally, the last 3 calls I've had, 2 of them were CCIMs and 1 was an SIOR. The people that are supposed to, be smart about detail, and they paid no attention to it when it came to their license.
I tell you, it was interesting. Just an anecdotal. So I got a call from Meredith McCullough. He's probably had his license is 68 or something like that. In the event, he called me about this issue with his license being suspended. It was more fun to talk to him about. He's moved to Shackelford County, West Texas, and he's in the cutting horse business. And he went through this long story about buying this big ranch in Shackelford County. There's 19 landowners in this county in Texas, and that's it. And 100-year lease. It was really interesting. So it was worth it just to talk to him about Shackelford County, Texas, because I'm from Texas, than it was trying. I mean, I obviously couldn't help him much, but I'm sure Caitlin had a nice conversation with him as well.
All right. Anyhow, I just wanted to mention that. Thanks, Caitlin, for everything you're doing. Okay, we're on to the consent agenda, and you may have noticed a new name at the top of that, Shalina Brown. Now, many of you have never got to experience Shalina in public, but she's a great litigator. When she litigated, there were 2 contrasting styles at the time. One was this mean woman, and one was Shalina, who just got to the facts. She wasn't like going after the death sentence. She did a great job, and I'm glad you're with us, Shalina. Welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioners. This is Shalina Brown. I'm one of the attorneys for regulatory boards at the department, and I have been asked to fill in and handle the legal report. I've been told that this will be temporary, but who knows? So I have a few corrections that I need to tell you about. I know that there's also been some requests to pull some of the items from the consent agenda. But before we do that, if we could just go through the ones that have the corrections on, and maybe there won't be a need to pull those from the consent agenda. So the first one is number 5. This case should be in litigation monitoring. We need to find out about the disposition of the criminal charges first. So that should be changed to litigation monitoring. That's number 5. The next one is number 37. The recommendation was not listed. That recommendation should be to close it. That was 37. The next one is number 40. This one should be closed against the respondent, and case against the principal broker should be opened.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to catch up and scroll through it as I go. If we could just go a tiny bit slower. All right, 37 is closed. We're going to need to look back at that one. 40, you're saying what?
I'm sorry, it's that one also should be closed against that particular broker, and case against the principal broker should be opened. That's number
Okay.
4.
Okay.
And then the next one is number 70. This involves trust account violations, and the civil penalty should be $250 per violation for the 3 violations, for a total of $750. I think what's listed is $500 per violation. That's number 70. And then the same applies for number 71. The civil penalty should be $250 for the violation. That's also a trust account violation.
Shalene, on that number 71, you listed PMI. What do those letters stand for?
Thank you. That reference, the PMI, was referred to by the Real Estate Commission auditor, and it appears that it refers to the company's property management fees.
Thank you.
I could not find the acronym for what PMI was, but the auditor listed it as a PMI, and I think it refers to the property management fees. The funds were commingled in the trust fund. So that was the issue, and that was the violation.
So are we allowed, since particularly number 70 and 71, are we still allowed at this point to pull those two so that we can have discussion, since you're changing your recommendation as far as the dollar penalty?
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, anything else, Shalene?
That's all.
Anna, do you have anything that you want to comment on before we pull cases?
I do not.
Okay, all right. So,
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioners were asked to send cases in, but you're not bound to do that. Let's talk about which cases individual commissioners would like to have pulled from the consent agenda. Who's
You want me
Marcia?
to read? I can read them and let you know who pulled them if that's easier.
I just want to see I want to get a sense of the scope of what we have to deal with here.
Well, Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Jeff.
Do the case numbers need to be read into the record?
They will be, yes.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to see what we've got here to deal with outside the consent agenda. Bobby, do you have anything?
Yeah, I had 19.
Can we let Caitlin read them so they'll be in numerical order?
Oh, fine.
I can read them and let you know who pulled them. So Bobby pulled number 4. John and Marcia pulled 5.
You can take that off. I withdraw back. 5 has been explained.
Marcia, are you good with 5?
Well, I don't know because they changed their recommendation and I have to look back at it now.
And Caitlin, I didn't have 4. This is Bobby.
I thought I had 4 on your email.
Because the first one I started with was 19, I thought.
I wonder if you, so in your email, there was a 4 later on.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if that was to be 46. Okay. We can figure out.
So I just looked at number 5 and I'm good with that litigation monitoring.
Okay. Okay, so Bobby had 19, 25, and 37. John and Bobby had 40. Bobby had 44, 49, and 54, as well as 60. Marcia and Bobby had 70. Bobby had 71. Marcia had 75. Bobby had 76. Marcia and Bobby had 78. and Marcia had 81.
Okay.
Other one.
Anything else? Any other cases commissioners want polled?
And Caitlin, if I'm the only one that had 71, I'm okay with taking that out.
Marcia, you wanted to talk about 71, didn't you?
No, 70.
I thought you wanted both of those. Okay, 71's off.
Did somebody else have 40? I'm okay with taking that out too.
I had 40.
I took it off.
Okay. 40 out. And I also had 45 in there too.
Okay. That was where I got the.
Okay. So we're going to read each of these. We're going to read all cases into the record, case numbers, with the understanding that cases 19, 25, 37, 44, 45, 49, 54, 60, 70, 75, 76, 78, and 81 will be discussed. Now, please keep in mind that each of those cases will require a separate vote. So I'm not trying to shorten this meeting, but if there's any question you could ask before we had to take a separate vote on any of these, I'm open to that.
You to go. I'm on duty right now.
Pardon me? I heard someone say something. All right, Shalene and Anna, I don't know, one person can read all these in or you want to divide them up, I don't care. But let's get all cases entered into the record by case number.
I'll read 84 through 87 since those are mine.
Okay. Shalene. If you will read into the record the case number, each of those case numbers through 83.
Okay, so do we want to go one by one, starting with 19?
No, I want you to, let's get all of them in and then we can discuss without having to read the others. We have to read them again. So just start with case number 1 and just give us the case number.
I'll begin with case number 1.
All 1 through 83. We're just for the record trying to get the case number in the record. And then we'll come and pull out the ones. We'll take a motion to pass those cases with the exceptions of the ones we pulled out.
Okay, so the first one is 2020006 061. The next one, number 2, 20200146611. The next one, number 3, 202008981. The next one, number 4, 202005111. Number 5, 202003801. Number 6, 20200162241. Number 7, 202001691. Number 8, 202001611. Number 9, 202001648. Number 10, 202001651. Number 11, 202001691. Number 12, 202001731. Number 13, 202001671. Number 14, 20200-16891. Number 15, 20200-16921. Number 16, 20200-17081. Number 17, 20200-18281. Number 18, 20200-20631. Number 19, 20200-11021. Number 20, 20200-11491. Number 21, 20200-11511. Number 22, 20200-14981. Number 23, 20200-20461. Number 24, 20200-22261. Number 25, 20200-22621. Number 26, 2020001-7251. Number 27, 20200-14991. Number 28, 20200-11401. Number 29, 20200-20541. Number 30, 20200-20701. Number 31, 20200-26101. Number 32, 20200-21861. Number 33, 20200-18261. Number 35, 20200-23381. Number 36, 20200-13841. Number 37, 20200-17931. Number 38, 20200-18681. Number 39, 20200-20901. Number 40, 20200-22081. Number 41, 20200-22491. Number 42, 20200-25691. Number 43, 20200-19401. Number 44, 20200-25171. Number 45, 20200252201. 46, 20200258871. Number 47, 20200247761. 48, 202002591. 49, 20200252291. Number 50, 20200258881. 51, 202002692. Number 52, 20200125111. Number 53, 20200227111. Number 54, 20200273031. 55, 20200246001. 56, 20200137001. 57, 202001061. 58, 20200154661. 59, 202002681. Number 60, 202001861. 61, 202002743. 62, 202002958. Number 63, 20200295591. Number 64, 20200300781. 65, 20200243341. 66, 20200254041. 67, 20200300441. 68, 202002251. 69, 202002441. Number 70, 20200252231. Number 71, 20200252281. Number 72, 202002871. Number 73, 202003007. Number 74, 202003741. The represents number 75, 201-907-4291. Number 76, 20200-14451. Number 77, 2019058-781. Number 78, 2019-03-7691. Number 79-2019-054-251. Number 80-2019-013-561. Number 81-20-200-175-11. Number 82-20-200-271. Number 83-200-106-81.
All right, Selena, thank you. I'm going to let Anna read hers in the record, and we'll be back to you. Anna.
84, 2019-009451, 85, 2018-080771, 86, 2019-073991, 87, 2019-062101.
All right, the chair will accept a motion to accept council's recommendation on each of the cases read into the record by our attorneys, with the exception of cases 19, 25, 37, 44, 55, 49, 54, 60, 70, 75, 76, 78, and 81. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Steve. So the motion on the floor is to accept.
I might have timed out. Forward with the roll. Commissioner Joe Begley.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz.
Aye.
Vice Chair Marcia Burke. Commissioner Steve Glenn.
Aye.
John Moffett.
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith.
Aye. Am I muted?
Commissioner Stacy Torbett.
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood.
Aye.
Chairman Grease.
Yes.
Are you able to, did you want to vote on that one?
Yes, it was a yes for me. I lost my signal there for a moment, but I'm back now.
Okay.
Speaking of back, my
unanimous.
screen. Okay, my screen is black at the moment, but we'll try to operate. Here it comes. Okay. All right, let's go to case 19. Bobby.
Hey, yeah, I would like to do this. I was trying to tell you this before, and then I had my computer muted. I would like to do this. If I'm the only person that had these cases on 19, 45, 60. If I'm
Would you speak?
person, this, so it's, I'm sorry.
You say those cases again, Bobby?
Yeah, 19, 45, 54, 60. If I'm the only person, I'd like to make a motion to accept council's recommendation on those four.
Second.
Any objection to the motion? Anybody else have those cases pulled? If not, we're going to accept. It's got a motion to accept council's recommendation on four cases. Those cases are 19, 45, 54, and 60. Let's vote, Ms. Maxwell.
Okay. Commissioner Joe Begley.
Aye. Aye.
Commissioner Diaz.
Aye.
Vice Chair Marcia Franks.
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Glenn.
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffett.
Aye.
Joan Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy Torres,
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood,
Aye.
Chairman Johnson.
Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Now we're to case 25. Bobby?
Okay, on 25, I guess we were saying they had an advertising violation. No, what was it that they did that was wrong with advertising?
On 25, that was related to a divorce.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm
And
having
the home
trouble
was
hearing.
listed.
Let's see, I don't know. Okay, go ahead, try again. It was a divorce.
Yes, it was related to a divorce, and the home was listed without the signature of the soon-to-be ex-husband, and there was a for sale sign placed on the property.
Okay.
Sorry.
So there wasn't a court order giving that spouse the permission to do that?
No, there was no court order, and in fact, the complainant produced the only court order, and there was nothing in the order ordering the sale of the property. But even if there was the realtor did not obtain the signature of the husband or soon-to-be ex-husband.
And were they aware that there was a divorce taking place?
I'm sorry?
Were they aware that there was a divorce taking place?
Yes, the broker was aware that there was a divorce pending and was told about the divorce.
So they just took the word of the person listing it probably, instead of doing their due diligence.
Yes, correct. They did not do their due diligence.
Bobby?
Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking, I mean, I'm sure they probably asked the question. I mean, who all, and I'm almost thinking the agent got lied to. I don't think agents just go out and list homes. I mean, and that's what I was thinking to dismiss it. I'm just waiting to consider that the agent did something mean there.
You've got the floor.
Hey,
Brown?
Make the motion to dismiss it.
everybody needs to mute if you're not talking.
Okay, Joan, we'll beat you in just a second. Bobby?
I would like to make the motion to dismiss. That's what I'd like to do.
Is there a second?
I'll go ahead and second, but I have a question for council.
Okay, so the motion properly on the floor is to dismiss. Joan Smith, you've got the floor.
Well, as a listing agent, don't we usually pull a deed that would show who owns the property?
No,
Have a husband. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me a question.
Well, my question would be, as a listing agent, don't we usually pull a deed or reference that show who owns the property? And if that would be the case, wouldn't we show an owner as a husband and wife and secure those signatures on a listing agreement? I'm just asking.
We'll put that in the rhetorical question category. Jeff?
Council, this court order that was produced, did this court order say that they couldn't dispose of any marital property? Or marital?
The court order did not mention anything related to the property. It was only regarding the visitation and an injunction that the soon-to-be ex-wife was seeking. It did not discuss anything related to the marital property.
Okay, so the court didn't grant an injunction against disposal of the marital asset.
Right, the injunction was denied and visitation was granted for the children.
Okay, to make sure we're all current, the motion on the floor is to dismiss. Is there further discussion? If you'd like, Marcia.
So do we know that this agent knew there was a spouse? Do we know that the agent knew? Because honestly, Joan, I don't go pull a deed, but when it's a single person, I would definitely ask, there's no other spouse, there's no divorce. I would ask those questions. I probably would look at the tax record, but if I didn't know someone was going through a divorce, I don't know that I'd go straight there and ask.
I might not pull a
Go ahead, Joan.
I might not pull a deed, but I'm going to pull a tax card.
Right. Yeah, I would too. So, Bobby, what are you thinking? What makes you think that maybe they didn't know?
I mean, I would think a real estate agent knows good and well. Why would you go and list the house if you didn't think you could, if you got a contract on it, you could get it to close? I mean, because they're not going to go out and list it and then going to go to closing knowing good and well there's another spouse laying out there. I got to believe the conversation is had at the listing, you know. So tell me why you're selling it. Well, we're going through a divorce. Well, and then do you have the right to do this? Yes. I got to believe that this agent was lied to. It said, yeah, I have the right to do it. Otherwise, why would they have listed it and go through all this trouble?
But when someone tells you that, you need to ask for the court documents.
Oh, you can. And he usually goes, I don't have it, but I'll get it to you. You go, okay.
And I will wait for I listed that property till I got that piece of paper.
Okay.
Joan.
Our listing agreement also says in there that you have the right as a seller to sell that property.
Yeah.
You know, our listing agreement, I forget what page it's on, but it does say in there that you as a seller have the right to sell that property.
And again, that kind of plays to my point. They lied. If they signed that agreement, they lied.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to dismiss. If it passes, we're done with this case. If it doesn't, let's take another motion. So, Caitlin, let's call a roll. If you're in favor of dismissing this case, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote no.
Okay, Commissioner Joe Begley.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz.
Aye.
Vice Chair Marcia Franks.
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn.
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Stacey Torbett.
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood.
Aye.
Chairman John Grease.
Aye. That motion passes unanimously. Case 44, Bobby.
Oh, this is the one about the earnest money deposits were late. Am I right? At 44? And there was one that was late for 19 days, one for 6, and one was late for 1 day. And I think you know what? Yeah, and the civil penalty was going to be $250 per case. Was that right? And for a total of $750. And just my thought, I just thought for 1 day being late, that having a $250 civil penalty was a little stiff. And so, and have I got the scenario right?
Yes.
And so, kind of my thought was, I would rather have a motion to just find them, I guess, guilty, but for $250 and only charge them $500 for the 3 situations that they ran across.
So I'm going to take that as a motion. Is there a second to that motion? Ms. Frank seconds the motion. Discussion. Let's call the roll. Caitlin?
Joe Beckley. Commissioner Beckley.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz.
Aye.
Vice Chair Mark Franks.
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Flynn.
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffett.
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy Torbett.
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood.
Aye.
Chairman John Grace.
Yes. So case 44, the motion passes unanimously. We're on to case 49.
I believe we might have skipped 37. I think I pulled. That one get.
I might have just unintentionally done that. 37 was one where the recommendation wasn't included in the initial paperwork. And Selena, at the start of this session, recommended to dismiss that or close that case. And so it was included in the motion, the consent calendar.
Okay, so
Okay, 49.
We're headed to 49.
Okay. So they, I guess in this, it says that one side was saying that the MLS was wrong, and then the agent is saying, I didn't even put it in MLS. And so what was actually, was it MLS or not?
I don't believe there was an MLS listing here.
Okay. And then the other, okay, so we're making the assumption it was not an MLS. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Okay. And then, but it said it was purchased from an investor group. Now, what does that mean? So that was the agent's argument. It was not an MLS. It was purchased from an investor group. What was that?
It was not listed in the MLS system. It was just sale made from a group.
Oh, so you see more like it was a for sale by owner. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then how did the buyer think? I mean, where did they get the impression that it was in the sewer, that it was hooked to the sewer or not?
I believe the broker had told them it was on a connected to the public sewer.
Okay. So then how did the broker, did they just say, hey, this property's hooked to a sewer, or did they put that in writing somewhere?
It was not in writing. They just made the assumption that it was a misunderstanding, essentially, for both parties.
What, wasn't the seller required to have a Tennessee property disclosure?
Yes, I believe so. For some reason, it was overlooked. There was no misrepresentation made by the broker.
Marsh, if it was an investor group of rental properties, they might have had an exemption of never been living there.
True.
Okay. I'm gonna make the motion to accept council's recommendation to, which was a letter of warning. Leave it there.
Second.
Okay, the motion properly is on the floor to accept council's recommendation as well.
Commissioner Joe Beckley.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz.
Aye.
Vice Chair Marcia Frank.
Aye.
Commissioner Steve Flynn.
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffett.
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith. I think you might be on mute, Joan.
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy Torbett,
Aye.
Commissioner Bobby Wood,
Aye.
Chairman John Grease.
Yes. Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Now on to number 70. Marcia's pulled this. The initial recommendation from council was a $500 civil penalty for each violation. However, today that recommendation is modified to a $250 civil penalty for each violation. So, Marcia, you want to speak to your concerns?
Yes. I'm trying to remember now. We had one of these. Bobby, help me with this. A while ago when we had 3 and you took out 1 because it was just one day.
Yeah.
Do you remember what the penalty was? Was it $250 or was it $500?
I think it was $250, $250 per offense.
Okay. I'm just thinking in the past, and when it's an earnest money problem, we usually go pretty heavy-handed, and it's $1,000, and that's why I originally pulled this out because I thought the 500 wasn't enough. In my opinion, we have to be very consistent on things like this. The money part, because now they can say, well, on the same day you gave somebody a penalty of $250. So that's a little worrisome to me, but
well, Mark, I was thinking that maybe this person needs in addition to what council was saying, but to take a broker core class.
Because I'm very worried about this broker to begin with, because of all of their problems they've already had with earnest money and self-dealing that they have shown, at the top up there. And when it's a principal well, it's not a principal broker, it's a broker. So to me, I hold them a little bit more, they should be a little bit more capable than just an affiliate. So that's why I just hate, for those reasons, I would rather see that the penalty be the $500, not the $250, which was the original amount that our attorneys gave us. But at the same time, I'd also like to know why would they think it needed to be reduced before I make that motion.
I reduced this one just to be consistent with the other ones. But in light of what you've said, I agree with you. And I did also want to point out that the respondent, the broker didn't provide a response. So that was the other reason I had originally had it at 500 per violation.
The broker did not provide a response?
Correct.
Okay, so that's $1,000 right there that we need to add to this. So I am going to make a motion that we accept council's recommendation, but we also include a $1,000 penalty for the broker not responding, along with the CE that's that the attorneys have recommended, and that be the well, it's not a principal broker though, Bobby. So what class do we want them to take?
I think just the core class would be good then.
Okay, so let's have them take the core class again, and they don't get credit otherwise for it. So if they need to take the core class, they're going to need to take it twice.
So, Shalina, could I ask you a quick question? So the auditor found that deposits were made on a timely basis. Is this complaint open against the principal broker? It doesn't say that, but it says real estate broker.
It is the principal broker.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I originally had in my notes to downgrade this person. That's how upsetting it was to me that there's all these violations. There's earnest money violations. I'd like to know how you all feel about downgrading this person. Anybody have any comments?
I would say, given the history, I think they've proven that they can abide by the rules of the principal broker. So I think a downgrade is probably appropriate.
So, Marcia, I'd like to get some motion on the floor for us to discuss.
I'd like to make the motion that we downgrade this person to an affiliate broker license.
For a certain period of time.
What are my choices?
Well, I'm pretty sure you probably can't downgrade it for life.
Oh, no, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
But I would rather they not be a principal broker probably for a while, a good while. I mean, this has been going on, problems with this person since 2013. For 7 years, this person's been before us.
So an affiliate,
and twice for earnest money.
So typically, an affiliate would have to be licensed for 3 years before they can sit for a broker's exam.
I think that's what I'm looking at, Jeff.
Okay, so let me see if I can summarize this. Jeff, will you second this motion when I'm finished talking?
Depends what you say.
Motion by Ms. Franks is to downgrade this licensee to an affiliate broker for a period not to exceed for 3 years. In addition, Marcia, do you want a $1,000 civil penalty for failure to respond? And do you want dollar amounts for not getting earnest money deposited in a timely fashion?
I think reducing their license is probably enough. I think that's bigger to them than any amount of money. But they've been doing the crimes and paying the money, so I'm not worried about the money as much as I am downgrading.
Jeff, will you second her motion to downgrade for a period of 3 years?
So I will question, after the 3 years, they have to sit for the broker's course and the exam again, correct?
Yes.
And I will second it.
That's the intent.
I second it.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to downgrade this principal broker's license to an affiliate broker for a period of 3 years. Period. Discussion. I sent you Steve. You're muted, Steve.
Wrong direction. So there's no penalty at all? No financial penalty?
At the moment, the motion does not include a financial penalty. If you'd like to amend it.
I'm open to an amendment.
Well, I'd vote to amend it to the what she had originally, which was, I mean, this is stiff, but it would be, I guess, $2,500. 3 times 500 plus 1,000. Because this person is just, there's probably some other, I don't know, he's been caught, or she, about every 5 years or so. And this is, I don't know that downgrading his license or her license is going to really hit the pocketbook, because commission splits, and I don't know exactly if there's a financial penalty by downgrading the license. So I would opt for the fines and make it as hard as possible.
Okay, so Steve would like to at least initially offer a friendly amendment that would increase the civil penalty to a total of $2,500, $1,000 for failure to respond, and $500 for each of 3 escrow deposit violations. Jeff, are you okay with that, or do we need to vote on it?
I'm okay with that.
Marcia, are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, the chair is going to rule that that's the motion on the floor now. 3-year suspension, a reduction in or downgrade to affiliate broker, and a $2,500 civil penalty for 2 separate reasons. Is there further discussion? in a moment when Caitlin calls the roll, if you're in favor of the motion as amended, you'll vote yes. If you're opposed, you'll vote no. Well,
Commissioner Joe Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz,
Aye.
Vice Chair Marcia Frank,
Aye.
Steve Gwynn,
Aye.
Commissioner John Moffitt,
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Stacy,
Aye.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Chairman John Grieve.
yes. That motion passes unanimously. Marcia, we're on to case 75.
Okay.
This,
Okay. Okay, my question I have written down is how much time on the extension? So let me look at it and see here. What
look
it was
at
about.
the information.
Okay, so how much time, it says, allow the respondent additional time to complete CE by extending the deadline for completion of CE. So how much time are we talking about? And I'm trying to remember, what did this person do now that I'm looking at it?
I would suggest to give an additional 6 months for them to complete it.
How many months?
6 months.
Did she say 6 months?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, and why do they need 6 months?
They do not have video capabilities on the computer.
Okay, but can they not take a pen and paper class?
The first available, they stated, was in September 2020.
What is the class they're needing to take?
Contracts.
Yes, contracts.
There are contracts classes going on every day, all day long. I just can't imagine that there's not one for another year. Or September 2020. Is that what you said?
Yes, September 2020.
So if we gave them 90 days, that would get them to that date?
Let's give them 30 days instead of 6 months. I mean, they're already behind.
So, Marcia, your point's well made. A pen and paper or pen and pencil, what do they call those? Pen and paper or pen and pencil classes. You don't need a computer to take those.
No.
As a matter of fact, some companies send you the answers with the
Right.
course I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
Sometimes.
So, Marcia, what date, Marcia?
I say that we give them 30 days to complete the education. And it doesn't have to be online. It can be pen and paper.
Okay, so is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so that would take them through October of 2020, Marcia. Is that what you think?
Yes, and no, not October 2020. 30 days would be August 2020.
Well, I think we gave them through September to get the original 6 months to get it done. So he's asking for additional time past that.
For a contracts class.
Yes.
Then I would say this. I would say, okay, our decision was a $250 civil penalty and require respondent to attend a 4-hour contracts class within 180 days over and above what is required. And how long ago did we start the 180 days?
Let's say it's going to end in September. Let's just say that.
March, maybe?
No, I'm not willing to do that because this person, has a phone. They could call their principal broker and ask the principal broker if they don't even have a computer. Maybe they could go, say to their principal broker, because listen, all of my agents, I don't have 700 agents, but they all have my cell phone and can get in touch with me 24/7. So this person, I'm not willing to even with the new information, I'm not willing to change this. My motion is that we keep our original decision.
Okay, so if you previously made a motion, you're ready to withdraw it, right?
Yes. Did I already make one?
Yeah.
Okay. I withdraw that. Yeah, I said 30 days. I want to keep our original decision.
Okay. The chair's going to opine that if no motion is made, then the previous decision stands. We'll move on to the next case. So with that in mind, is there a motion? Last call. Is there a motion regarding case number 70? In the opinion of the chair, no motion has been made, so the previous decision of the commission stands.
And that was number 75.
1 second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 75. Thank you.
Yes.
Since we've taken action or taken no action, I did note the guy's license expired in March of this year. Is that accurate at all at this point? The guy or girl? Looks like it.
They would fall under the executive order. That doesn't mean that they're not still expired. They wouldn't be active until they did complete education, but the executive order has given an extension on education.
Okay, thank you. All right, now number 76, Marcia.
That was Bobby.
Sorry.
My question, I think the issue had to do with advertising and maybe on a billboard, and maybe the agent's name was larger than the company name. And the new information was that the "and" sign was real big. And that was why they shouldn't have a penalty or anything. Was that correct? Was that what the new rationale is?
Yes.
So it's not all the letters of the name. It's just they have a big "and" sign. Is that what it is?
Yes, the ampersand would make it appear as though the firm name was larger.
Well, it doesn't. It's not what it appears. It's what it is. So, is the agent's name bigger than the letters in the brokerage name?
No.
So you're saying if we were to look at the sign, the agent's letters are not bigger than the letters in the name of the company.
Correct. The respondent asked for the reconsideration after they sent the clearer picture. But the name is not larger. It appears larger because of the ampersand, but it is not.
Okay. Now I'm going to be looking for this sign because I can't imagine that. I cannot imagine it makes a difference at all.
know.
Because is the ampersand, is it more like a logo, but it's part of the name?
Part of the name.
You can keep this we had last time also, Bobby.
This is one I just can't picture in my head of why this makes a difference. The "and" sign. Okay, I can't get it clear. I'm gonna make the motion that we keep the same decision that we had last time. That was that we had accepted the council's recommendation, but also voted to assess an additional $500 civil penalty. So I guess I'm going to go back to the original decision is what I want to do.
So you're not going to make a motion?
I guess that's what. Well,
it doesn't require one.
Well, no, I would, because the new motion says dismiss. I guess I'm trying to go back to the motion we had at the last meeting that we did this. So that
That means we don't accept the new recommendation.
Yeah.
Well, give us a motion, Bobby. We got to vote on something.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to go back to our last decision that we accepted that there was a $500 civil penalty for advertising violation.
Is there a second?
Second.
I've got a second by Mr. Diaz. So the motion on the floor is to keep the original civil penalty offer, period. Now, is there discussion?
I have a question for Ms. Brown. So,
Yes.
Go, Joe.
is it pretty clear in the picture that you saw the last time that the firm name was as large or larger than the agent's name?
The
Who saw the clear
Yes.
picture of the billboard? You?
the firm name, only because of the ampersand, it appears to be larger, but it is not larger.
Only the ampersand is larger.
Yes.
So is the firm name smaller than the agent's name or larger than the agent's name?
It's about the same.
Okay.
So, other comments? So I'm going to vote against the motion because the only set of eyes that have seen this are our counsel, and I don't doubt that what you said is correct. What bothers me is the respondent had a chance to send a clearer picture when they responded to the dang original complaint and chose not to, apparently. So I got to go with the current data, but I almost think about a motion to penalize them for not sending a decent response the first time the complaint was presented. It's just me. All right, the motion on the floor to stick with the original decision, which was to assess a $500 civil penalty for billboard advertising violation. If you're in favor of that motion, you'll vote yes. If you're opposed to it, you'll vote no. Caitlin?
Okay. Commissioner Begley?
No.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Vice Chair Marcia Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn?
No.
Commissioner John Moffett?
Aye.
Commissioner Joan Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy Torpett?
No.
Commissioner Bob Wood?
Yes.
Chairman John Grant?
No.
Five ayes, 4 noes.
All right, the motion passes. We're on now to case number 78. What's your, Marcia, is that yours or is that Bobby's?
It's me and Bobby, I think. I'm trying to read it now to see what was, because I didn't write a note down.
Let me ask this first question. What was the listing price when they put this house on the market?
Listing price was $149,000.
Okay. So if an agent were to say, send me a full price offer, full price would have been $149,000, right?
I think the problem, I think the complaint is more of that they were not aware of a multi-offer situation.
I guess my question is, if an agent is putting, if they're writing in the list, save yourself the hassle of a full price counter and write a full price offer. And they can only do something like that if someone told them to. And then it really doesn't make sense if they ended up getting an offer over $60,000 or more. I'm just trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
Well, I think they're complaining because a person put a tagline of "Save yourself the hassle of a full price offer and write a full hassle of a full price counter and write a full price offer." So, I mean, I think that has nothing to do with anything. That's just verbiage. Nothing illegal about saying that. I think that the problem is, is it a law that you have to let someone know when there's counter offers?
I don't think so.
No. It's a courtesy, and we like to do that as those of us who are members of realtor associations that maybe ethically. That's why I'm thinking maybe this is not really, I just don't know if there's any real problem here.
Well, so what is the complaint? I guess let's start there. What is the complaint?
It would be great when we get these, if it says, like at the top, complainant is a real estate licensee, respondent is a real estate licensee, the complaint is. If you could narrow that down for us, that would help us in the future. Right, Bobby?
Okay.
Well, and I was showing Grace because this is, I think, her first time to do this, and I'm just glad she's doing this.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just
okay. Let's handle it. What do you want to do?
Well, we need to know what the complaint is.
The main complaint was that the complainant was never told about the other offer.
Mm-hmm.
That they did not know there was a multi-offer situation, and like you said, there really isn't any law that says they have to be told. So that's the complaint.
Okay.
Sounds like a motion to dismiss.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Hey, Steve, do you have comments?
No, I'm seconding.
Okay, perfect. Voted by Mr. Diaz, seconded by Mr. Gwynn, that this complaint be dismissed. Discussion. Let's vote. Caitlin.
Commissioner Joe Beckley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff D.
Yes.
Commissioner Marsha Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn,
Yes.
Commissioner John Moffett,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
You're muted, Joan.
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy Torbett,
Yes.
Commissioner Bob Wood,
Yes.
Chairman John Grease.
Yes. That motion passes. Let's go to number 81. Marcia, is that you?
Yes, number 81, just to refresh everybody's memory, was the one that we had recently where an agent was caught on camera on 2 occasions going through a medicine cabinet and drawers in bathrooms, and that there were narcotics missing. The new information is this person is just saying they didn't take anything, They can't deny, though, that they weren't going through the drawers in the medicine cabinets because that's on film. So just because they say they didn't take something, and I understand this does hurt a person's livelihood, but we took that in consideration when we made this decision before, and this is egregious enough that we felt like what we decided last time was the correct thing. I don't see any new information that would change my decision on that unless someone else does. Bobby, I think you're on this one too, or is it just me?
I feel the same way about that. I mean, all they did was they blamed their client on maybe taking stuff. But that was their only defense. Maybe my client stole it. So I don't see anything's changed from the last time we made a decision. So I'm with you, Marsha. I'm good with going back to our previous decision, letting it stand.
Okay, Marsha, because we have a recommendation from council, we'll need a motion. And
let's see. Okay, I make a motion that we keep our original decision when we voted to present a consent order with a 6-month suspension of the license.
Okay, Bobby seconds that. So if this motion passes, our previous action will stand. Any discussion? Let's vote. Ms. Maxwell.
Commissioner Joe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Commissioner Marsha Frank.
Yes.
Commissioner Steve Glenn.
Aye.
Commissioner John Moss.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy Corbett.
Yes.
Commissioner Bobby Wood.
Yes.
Chairman John Green.
Yes. All right, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Shalina.
Thank you, board members.
We appreciate you and the work you did. Okay, let me ask one quick question. Marsha, you mentioned somebody named Linda Spencer. Was that on last month's legal report?
Yes.
What was that about?
It was deferred for 30 days. It didn't give the information in the minutes, only that it was deferred for 30 days.
Okay.
Okay, so Caitlin, were you going to speak to that?
Yes. My understanding is at the May Commission meeting, essentially the commission asked us to have legal review the request, determine if anything different could be done. So
what was the request?
She had expired over 1 year and was requesting that the executive order apply to a reinstatement past the 1 year. And so Department Legal reviewed her request with the executive order, and it was determined that no education was due at the time of Ms. Spencer's expiration, and therefore the executive order would not apply. We went ahead and notified Spencer. I sent a letter, and so she has been set up in PSI's system to retest.
Okay, great.
In other words, we tried to help her and we couldn't help her. So we tried.
Okay, thank you, Caitlin. Okay, next up is Anna has, I think it's Anna.
Yep.
Legal opinion. What's the topic, Anna?
So a couple of months ago, the commission wanted us to look into TCA 6213-312B11, which is information which states accepting a commission or any valuable consideration by an affiliate broker for the performance of any acts specified in this chapter from any person except the licensed real estate broker whom the licensee is affiliated. So my understanding, if I'm getting this correctly, if not, please correct me, is the commission wanted to know if a licensee was able to accept a commission from anyone other than their licensed principal broker.
Oh, so I know you're legal, but you're really not legal. But really what the commission asked for was an attorney general's opinion. And I think that legal, whoever that is, somebody up the chain, decided they didn't necessarily want to bother the attorney general with the question, so that legal would give its opinion, at least initially, before going up the chain. Is that correct?
That's it. Not that necessarily we didn't want to be bothered, but we wanted to have the opportunity to provide a legal opinion prior to going to the route of drafting a formal opinion to the Attorney General's office. Typically, just because there is some disagreement on whether something is the interpretation doesn't necessarily solicit an Attorney General's opinion. That's kind of a more extreme decision, and so we wanted the opportunity to give you our interpretation. The parties that would be defending any actions against this statute before going that route.
Okay, so what you're about to give us is Department of Commerce and Insurance's legal department's opinion about our question.
So it is the legal department. I've spoken to Mark about this. I don't think this is the official. I can't speak officially for the department.
So at the end of the day, what I think we're trying to do is have some decision that we can hang our hat on as a commission when it comes to this topic.
I feel like if your legal counsel was to give you a decision and you agreed with that or disagreed with that opinion, that would be something that you could hang your hat on, like any other issue when we make our legal report recommendations or anything of the sort. I don't really see that as much of a difference. Sometimes judges disagree with us if a case is appealed upwards or not. And so that's kind of just the same situation that we're in here. But if you would I can still take this to Pam and Mark and John and let them know that you're still wanting an Attorney General's opinion on it. I'm not sure exactly what the process is for that during this time period. I know that things are a little bit different, but we can, because I know that the commission feels strongly about it. But just know that if we get an opinion on it and it doesn't go a particular way, then it's kind of binding opinion.
Well, it's sort of like the LLC.
That's what we need.
Yeah, but that's what we want. We need. I think as this trend continues of brokers delegating payment to their agents through a third party, it will be helpful from my perspective to be able to say the Attorney General, just like he spoke about LLCs, said this is it until the law is changed. That's the decision.
And Anna, have you given us your opinion on that?
Well, I've mentioned it before, and my opinion really hasn't changed. It's that I do believe that, specifically the laws of agency allow for principal brokers to enter into an agency relationship with a third party, such as a title company, and to delegate that particular duty. And that even, I'm so sorry.
What just happened?
I think Amy might have an assistant that was making some noise. Meaning her dog.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Caitlin was correct. Quincy wanted to make her presence known. She is outside now. So I was stating before, I believe that the laws of agency, and we have statutes that protect individuals, such as 402C. It states that notwithstanding any law to the contrary, for any duties from an agent supersede any fiduciary or common law duties owed by a licensee. And so I feel like we still have mechanisms in place that would put responsibility on an agent that delegates to a third party, that responsibility is still there, that they're still responsible for something, a misdeed that were to occur by a third party.
And you're saying that that is where in the law?
Which part?
Well, you said that you feel like it is in the law that the agency laws allow for a third party. So which agency law are you speaking of?
So I'm looking at specifically 6213 402B and 403. So section 401 is talking specifically about, duties that are owed to clients, all parties, and specifically agency relationships are addressed in that section of the law.
Okay, so can you quote where it is or tell me where it is? I'm trying to find it. 402B, you said.
So I was looking at 401. 401 talks about creation of an agency relationship. So it says a real estate agency may provide real estate services to any party in a prospective transaction with or without an agency relationship to one or more parties to the transaction. So that is the section that talks about creating an agency agreement.
So you see a title company as a party in the in the transaction?
I see if a principal broker enters into a contract with a title company, I see them as that being the agent of the principal broker in that particular instance.
Do they have a right to do that? That's the bottom line question I think we're all looking for.
I don't see anywhere where it's specifically prohibited to enter into an agency agreement with a third party. So if you think about, we don't require individuals to hold escrow money. You are allowed to sign the escrow waiver, and then a third party essentially makes the escrow payments for somebody based on the statute. So I could not find any rule or law that specifically prohibits entering in a third party.
So Anna, using that same logic, what would keep a principal broker from entering into a relationship with the seller, where the seller could pay the agent directly?
So a seller wouldn't be a third party because they are part of the transaction. They're one of the two parties to the transaction.
But what if I made an agreement with someone other than title companies don't even always have attorneys. A lot of times it's not attorneys doing the closings. So, I mean, we've already kind of slipped into that world. I'm just saying, could I get a notary public to take care of a closing and give them the right to write the check? What's different in that and a title company writing a check?
So we don't regulate what kind of relationships that people enter into with third parties. So that would be like a business decision that someone would make. Do I think that you should enter a relationship with a notary public? No. That probably wouldn't be wise. But that would be someone's business practice, who they choose to enter into a third party with. And I think it's kind of dangerous categories, like to limit who you can and cannot enter into a third party relationship with, because we know that some parties delegate certain tasks and duties to other individuals, whether it's, maintaining paperwork or any of those kind of things. So those would be considered, I think, third party agency agreements to a contract as well.
And I think that opinion of yours, that's the reason that we're not disagreeing with your opinion. But that's why we need a definitive answer. We need a definitive answer, and we're not saying yours is incorrect, but we would, just like the LLC, like for somebody to say how they want us to rule.
Okay.
Because this is very important. It has to do with earnest money. It's who you choose. I don't want to leave it to where someone could choose any third party.
Right.
So we just need direction, whether it comes, but we need to be able to depend on our legal team. If Mark Green says you can do it, I pretty much would say if Mark Green says, then, I'm going to listen to Mark Green. But if he's not sure and he's not willing to make a statement about it, then we need to go to the Attorney General to get that opinion, just so it doesn't put you or Mark or us in a bad position of making a decision that's contrary.
Right. And I have, just to clarify, discussed this with Mark, but I cannot make a statement on the on behalf of the commissioner or the department. So Mark agrees with me and what I'm saying, but I understand if you would like a more formal opinion. I will talk to him afterwards and let him know and figure out what the steps are for that. But I just wanted the commission to know kind of where we were coming from on this issue. It may be that what you're talking about, regulating third-party contract business, that kind of goes into contract law, which is well settled, isn't specifically written in the real estate statutes, if that makes sense. They still apply. So it may be that those are going to be some of the principles that may be relied upon when we're talking about this, but it also may be something that if you want specific changes, like these are the third parties that you can transact with, that it may be a statutory changes needed. So I want everyone to be aware that we may have some possible unintended consequences following that. But I'm not sure, but that's just me in my opinion, but I can definitely take this to everyone else and see what we can do about getting an attorney general opinion.
Thank you.
So Anna, just one quick follow-up. So the statute is pretty clear. The way it's written, it says only the broker can pay his or her affiliate. You're saying there are other details that might mitigate that statement. Is that correct?
I feel like you read specific statutes, but you have to read statutes together, other parts of the law and rules that go along with that. So that's the reason, my interpretation.
I got it, and we appreciate that. But at the end of the day, when we get phone calls as commissioners individually or something comes before us, it would be most helpful, especially when it comes to certain trade associations, to say, Attorney General says you can or can't do this, at which point they might want to institute their statutory process to get that changed. So I hope you'll pursue that. Ask Mark to pursue that up to the Attorney General. I know it's a process and it's difficult times right now, but it'd be helpful to the commission. Anything else from legal?
No, nothing further from me.
Okay, thank you for that report. Bobby?
Yeah, can I ask a question? So, Anna, I guess what we're saying is, what was the statute or what that you were referring to talking about the third party?
So I was looking at, it's essentially chapter 4 of our statutes, 401, 402, and 403 are the statutes, and 404 that I was looking at, the ones that were, outline duties, parties, and clients. But specifically, I was looking at the creation of an agency agreement in 401.
Okay, so that's 6213 401 is what you're talking about?
6213 401, yes.
But, see, I kind of always got the feeling that these rules only pertain to licensees. So since a title company is not a licensee, how could that be referred to in this book?
So the statute, it says a real estate licensee may provide real estate services to any party in a prospective transaction, with or without an agency relationship to one or more parties to the transaction. So that gives when I'm reading this, that looks like it gives the real estate licensee the opportunity to transact with a third party.
I think the interpretation's always been you're transacting with somebody that's a buyer and a seller. I mean, because if you're going to extrapolate this to title companies, then we could be talking to termite companies and mortgage lenders, and that's
I'm not specifically talking about just title companies. That's just an example that I was using. So third parties vary in contract law.
Yeah, I think agency in this law, to me, just referring to buyers and sellers and how agents interact with buyers and sellers. And then the other thing, I guess, that and if we're thinking that title companies, that we can regulate title companies at all, does this mean that we can take our rules? Because, like, for instance, if we have a broker that says, hey, I'm not going to hold the earnest money, title company's going to hold that earnest money. The contract says they got to do certain things. Well, like today has been a good example. We've had multiple brokers that had issues because they were not doing things properly in holding the earnest money. So, are you saying that if title companies, use your argument, does that mean title companies can write checks, but also maybe we have a ability and responsibility to make sure title companies are depositing the earnest money when they're supposed to? Does that give us governance over title companies?
I think that gives us regulation over title companies. That still gives us regulation over the broker. So if you are contracting with a third party and ultimately there's an issue with that contract, you're going to be held responsible for what that party does. So ultimately, there's still responsibility within the broker in that particular action. So it is their job to ensure that whatever third party, title company or elsewise, is responsible for conducting their rules and their actions in accordance with our statute and chapter.
Okay, so maybe your thinking is, like, if we put in our contracts for another title company to hold the earnest money, but if they don't collect the earnest money and they don't distribute the earnest money, then are you saying the broker's responsible because they're the one that picked that title company?
Well, it would depend on whether they have a waiver or not, whether they are allowed to hold those funds. But ultimately, I feel like if it's a duty that is enumerated in this chapter by a principal broker or any kind of affiliate, it's going to be very difficult for that individual not to be held responsible for it unless it's specifically stated. Does that make sense?
Well, I think we've got in our rules that the real estate commission did. At one point, it did say the brokers are responsible for the earnest money, period, no matter who holds it. But at some point, that was changed, and it said that if the broker don't hold it, the broker's not responsible. And I think that's how our rules are now, or law is. I'm not sure which way it is, but
right. So for earnest money, like if you have an escrow waiver, is that where are you talking about the escrow account waiver?
Well, it doesn't even have to be a waiver. Some companies just choose to let a title company hold the money because they don't want to mess with it and they don't want to get in trouble by the real estate commission.
And sometimes the seller demands it.
Could be. But I think most times than not, buyers and sellers don't really care who holds it. Agents care, or brokerages don't care. And so I've kind of thought through this. After seeing these brokers get in trouble now, we're seeing more and more brokers, or at least this month we saw them get in trouble. If it's being held by title companies, there's nobody out there looking at it, making sure it's being done properly. And and if we're taking a look at that, are we kind of chucking our responsibility to the public? Because now nobody's looking at it. That's nothing we're going to decide today, but I'm just thinking through that.
John?
John, you're muted.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, Bobby, shouldn't, I wouldn't think a title company would accept money without an agreement. I mean, they're not going to, at least the ones I've dealt with, there's a 3 or 4 page agreement that details out what they're doing when they accept earnest money. And I would assume that before a broker that's responsible for earnest money gave it to the title company, they're going to have an agreement with the title company.
The brokers, the brokers aren't even getting in a lot of cases. There are a lot of brokers that are like, "Hey, I don't want to mess with this," and it's negotiated by the agents, or like we heard today that we had a broker said he doesn't hold earnest money, so he has no idea where the earnest money goes. It's put in the contract, and then the money doesn't go to the broker; it goes directly to the title companies. And
yeah, but the title company just don't deposit a check under no premise. I mean, I don't think.
What my friends in the title company have told me, the issue becomes here, somebody sends them a check and they're like, I have no idea where this belongs.
Well, don't accept it then. I mean, they shouldn't accept it.
Well, they're accepting it because they want the closing.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay, but just go through the steps of doing an agreement with the broker and detail out how this thing is going to work. I mean, it's not that difficult.
And this is in residential stuff. They're not signing any agreement. They're not.
I think it's a title company problem, not a broker problem. I mean, the title company shouldn't be. They probably have some 1099. They got to probably have some 1099s and some other things that go along with the closing. And it's just, in my opinion, it's not good business for a title company to accept money without an agreement. I mean, you wouldn't accept money without an agreement.
A lot of times the real estate company and the title company are owned by the same person, or the real estate company owns the title company.
So Steve, suffice it to say that residential title companies handle it different than commercial title.
Right.
And we're dealing with smaller numbers than what y'all are dealing with too in the earnest money.
Well,
okay.
I deal with a title company that does 80-90% of their stuff, their businesses is, or multiple ones, are residential. So they're dealing with both residential and commercial. At least, maybe there's some smaller ones that are, less inclined to, let's say, do it the right way or do it a better way. But
so let me mention one thing, Steve. Finish this topic. So in your world, when you put money with the title company, they'll send you a document saying they received it, and it may be attached. It may be attached to an addendum to the contract where the title company is actually saying, "Here's what we're going to do. Yes, we've got it. We know these are our responsibilities." In the residential world, they just put it in the bank.
Yeah.
And sometimes they forget to do that.
Well, that's an excuse. I mean,
I got it.
It's not a residential world or a commercial world. It's a real estate world.
And that's why we're concerned about the earnest money and where it's going and who's handling it. And it's a huge concern. I mean, we saw it today.
But even today, the topic for Anna, which he's going to take back, is about commissions specifically, because that's what the statute says, or
right.
That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? If not,
I did want to ask about Kristen Downey. Is she no longer with us, or is she okay? Or
yes, Kristen's fine. She still works with the department. She's just working with another program.
Okay. Will she be back with real estate?
I don't believe so. At this time, I do not know.
Okay.
Okay. Other questions for legal? Thank you, Anna. We appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Okay. Caitlin, anything else?
It was just a quick topic under opinion.
Yeah.
Other programs are starting to do formal hearings virtually. So I just wanted to put that on everyone's radar. And I guess make sure that the commission would be open to a virtual hearing And if they are, there are trainings being done on how to conduct a hearing virtually.
How far back? We haven't had one in months and months, which that's good.
So we were supposed to have one in, was it April?
Yes, so I have a pending notice of hearing and charges. It was filed for April and then it was continued to June, but we didn't have a meeting. So that is at least one. And I know that I at least have 2 additional ones that will be coming forward. And I'm sure, I don't know about Shalina, but she may have some that are coming. But we've basically just been told to resume hearings. And the Administrative Procedures Division is doing hearings via WebEx. And those have been very successful. So we just wanted to let you know that is kind of, I'll turn it back over to Caitlin, but kind of the direction that we're moving towards for the future.
I think when somebody gets as far along as having to have a hearing, that it's very crucial that we hear those hearings as timely as possible, because in some cases it could be someone's license has been suspended, but they're able to continue working until they've had their hearing. So I think to protect the public, it's in the public's best interest that we do these hearings as timely as possible. And I would not be opposed to having the WebEx ones. If that helps.
Okay. Thank you. I do think it would probably be beneficial for everyone if we did do just a quick training, as it is. There are some nuances to doing this kind of thing remotely. So I will keep the commission posted as I hear more about that. And unless anyone objects, we'll continue with the scheduling of the pending hearing.
Okay.
You're on mute.
Sorry, thank you. Anything else?
Nothing from me.
All right, let's go around the horn here and see if any commissioners want to say any final words on the way out. Joe, let's talk about Dixie. You want to?
Unmute, Joe.
Oh, you're on mute.
Dixie left the building, I think.
Did she? Any comments before we go?
No, I miss having those in-person meetings. Hope everybody's doing well.
Thank you. Stacy, any comments?
The in-person meetings too. I'll be glad to see everybody face to face.
Absolutely. Thank you. John Moffitt, anything to say?
I second what Stacy said. I'm ready to be good.
Thank you. Bobby?
It seems like every time we have a meeting, there's something bad that happens in Mount Juliet type of thing. But we've had tornadoes and stuff, and probably the thing that's put a funk on our town right now is the passing of Charlie Daniels. And I mean, I'm maybe one of the few people in town that didn't have a personal relationship with him, but man, everybody's got a good story about Charlie Daniels, and we really lost I mean, you could feel the funk and the air came out of our town when he passed away. You could just, I mean, so you'll be hearing a lot more good things about him, but he put our town on the map because he'd always said, Charlie Daniels, I'm from Mount. But outside of that, going away and staying healthy.
As far as I know, Bobby, everybody has good things to say about you too. So you might be okay.
I'll tell you the biggest positive that ever happened to our family. We had a banker, and she dealt with Charlie Daniels, and when they were moving her away from being a personal banker to being over all the staff in all the banks, and she said, "Well, I still like doing some personal banking, and I want to keep 2 clients. I want to keep Charlie Daniels. I want to keep the Bob Wood family."
Oh,
that made me feel good. We got put in the same basket as Charlie.
That's nasty.
Great thing.
Jeff, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Only that to talk to Ms. Joan and say I had the opportunity to go to Humboldt also and participate in the Strawberry Festival. Had a great time.
Well, good, good. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Steve.
I'm good. Miss everybody.
Yep. Got any initial impressions you want to share?
Are you asking me?
Yes, ma'am. Strawberry Queen.
Thank you. I am honored to be a part of this group, and thank you for those of you that have made phone calls to me and made me feel welcome. And I look forward to seeing you in person. And again, thank you. Hopefully we'll see each other in person real soon.
Marcia.
Yes, I want to welcome Joan also, and make sure everybody knows she's the Tennessee Realtors Forums chairman. So we're always having questions about what form are you using. So it's great to have an expert with us on the Real Estate Commission, Joan, and we look forward to many years with you. I also wanted to announce that the Arello annual meeting first got postponed from Montreal, and it has now been canceled, and it's going to be virtual again this time. It's September 23rd through the 26th. So I'm going to have a virtual installation as president, but they were a little bit worried about me missing my installation party. And I told them if that caused one person to get sick, then, I don't need a party. We can party another time. But I know everybody in every group are having to regroup with this COVID thing going on, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better. Our county is one of the ones that are going mask. My little 6-year-old grandson has been wearing one around the house, hoping that he can go to school and wear one. So that's going to be a big, big deal for our everybody with children. But we'll get through it like we do everything else. And I really appreciate this group, and I enjoy being with y'all. And I look forward to seeing everybody too. Maybe next month. Who knows?
All right, Marcia, thank you. Just two things. Jeff, you have a beautiful family. You've moved your camera around where we don't see them as much. We see more of your beard, but I guess that's okay. Now, there we go. Perfect.
There's mine back there.
Yeah. And second of all, I feel like I wasted a lot of your time on Monday with my technical difficulties. And so I feel bad about that. I'm happy that Dustin got me hooked up where I can communicate with you.
Much better.
I wish you all the best. And I like saying this. Hope you have a safe drive home. See you next month. We're adjourned.
Thank you, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. See y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Take care.